My What's up, everybody? Welcome here to PCP Movie Night on Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm your host for tonight's festivities, Rockin' Robbie Bills, and tonight we are talking about Martin. That's right, the 1977 underseen, undersung, and unconventional vampire film from maestro filmmaker George A. Romero. This is what George A. Romero considers his best film, and very little people had the opportunity and still have had the opportunity to watch it. So in fact, we're not talking about the great 1990s sitcom starring Martin Lawrence, though I love that show, stole a lot of ideas from that show when I was writing my own sitcom. Don't worry, it was never produced. Moving on, a lot of first-time watches tonight and a lot of thought it was a first-time watch, actually not a first-time watch. So very excited to talk about Martin, which is a film that I have covered on two other channels already. Last year, I covered it on Blood Splatter Chatter. Before that, I covered it over at Dylan's Horror Show. Whenever a friend of mine is talking about this movie, I'm going to be there to talk about it, because I think one of my purposes in this entire existence of mine is to bring people to this movie. And I think it's a perfect March Madness movie. Let's introduce everybody to the panel. These are a bunch of dipshits that you already know, but here is Jelani. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Station. Glad to be here. Proud to be a dipshit here. Talking about this lovely 90s sitcom that I cannot wait to talk about, man. The first season is baller. It truly is.
Is the first season where he ends and he like leaves because it doesn't work out with him and Gina, and he comes back as that preacher with the dreads in season 2?
Yes.
Dude, I ripped that shit off in the pad. If you remember, I had Twiz go off and then come back, and he was all like a different person. Yes. He was like doing some kind of cult or something in Atlanta, Georgia. It was great stuff. You know what? Somebody's gonna make that show one day.
Eventually, Twiz Lomax will be a thing.
Yeah, and then we're gonna need you to reprise your role of HBM. All right.
And I gotta get buff.
Yes, you do.
Good plan. All right, dude.
All right.
Like I said, seen it before. We'll talk about it some more. It's the thing that we're going to do.
Heck yeah. Another person joining us who thought it was a first-time watch, maybe not so much a first-time watch, our boy Cliff from Cliff on Comics. What's up, homie?
I love that you invite me for queer-coded films. It's so exciting, you know?
Oh, yes.
I love it. I'm just like, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, oh my God, alienation, demonation, you know, society destroying the individual who doesn't quite fit in because they didn't take the time to get to know him. Yes, to all of these things.
You know, if you watch anything with the right lens, anything can be queer-coded.
I know, but
some things are very much truly queer-coded, including all of PCP Productions' previous 2023. All right. We also got Matt from Heroes for Hire Comic Club. What's up, homie?
I think I watched the wrong thing.
You might have.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. I had to switch it up. I'm actually watching this movie. I watched it halfway through again a minute ago because it's kind of one of those movies where you're like, I don't think I caught everything the first time. But well, I'll get into that later. But like, Station, good to see you. Thanks for having me back. And thank you for introducing me to this movie, Robbie. Very interesting movie.
You know what? That's like the highest compliment anybody can ever give me is thank you for introducing me to this movie or this comic or this band or anything like that. That's awesome. Speaking of which, everybody should go listen to Wolf Alice. You'll thank me later. Speaking of thanking me later, I'm still waiting on a thank you for this guy for everything that he's been introduced to in his adult life, culture-wise. It's Brooks. What's up, Brooks? How you doing?
What's up? I was surprised nobody took that one.
Everybody's doing the Martin bit, though, man. You know, everybody's doing the Martin bit.
Like it's mandatory, dude.
It is. That show is really great. I watched it, I think, solidly for like the first 2 or 3 seasons. I was super into it. Comedy.
Yeah.
It's before, you know, you
damn, Gina.
There's a certain point in our lives where we have time to fill, and then all of a sudden we don't. Right. And then we kind of fall out of things and we miss things and stuff like that. But one one person who never misses an opportunity to talk about this film aside from me. And this is funny because I adore this film. By the way, this is the Second Sight Blu-ray 4K edition. It's got lots of extra features, including like postcards. There's a book in there. There's it's a 3-disc set, y'all. Look at this. So this thing opens up, and there is the 4K, the Blu-ray, and the CD soundtrack, y'all. The CD soundtrack, and I'm not even trying to get you into a D's nuts joke, but I love this film. So anytime one of my homies talks about it, I'm here. This dude, I don't think likes it as much as me, but anytime one of his homies covers this film, he's there as well. It's the missing link. Steph, what's up, homie?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, this has been an interesting journey with this film for me. But I in the last year since Bruno covered it, I saw a film that kind of recontextualized this for me. It was called The Transfiguration, which is pretty much just a modern remake of Martin. Like the dude's name is Milo, very similar beats. But yeah, that helped me kind of like, I was like, okay, I don't know, that this is a better movie, without saying too much, but that movie helped me understand it more. But yeah.
Heck yeah. Dude, I love it, man. Yeah. Martin, Steph's relationship with Martin so far, I get a lot of Brokeback Mountain vibes. Why can't I quit you? Why do I always have to come back and like re-experience Martin?
You brought it right back to queer coding. Thank you very much.
Didn't take long.
Did not.
All right. I'm getting some weird feedback or glitching from people. So everybody check your stuff. If anybody's having internet issues, just let me know. But let's dive into this film, 1977. And to those astute George A. Romero fans like us, we know what that means. That means this movie was done before Dawn of the Dead. Okay? So George A. Romero, if you're new to this channel, maybe we should introduce George A. Romero to you. But if you're familiar with us and our love of movies in this channel and what we cover during March Madness and what we cover during Horror Fest and what we cover during every single week on PCP Movie Night, you should be familiar with one of my favorite filmmakers, George A. Romero. Pittsburgh native, started making movies, started doing commercial work, actually. He's was in Pittsburgh. He made these movies. He created his own production company. The first movie they made was Night of the Living Dead. And then nobody called George A. Romero to go to Hollywood and make movies. It was crazy, right? So he made a series of independently financed movies after Night of the Living Dead, including There's Always Vanilla, The Crazies, and then Martin. And then eventually, Dario Argento called him to do a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. That was Dawn of the Dead. Then that led on to other films that he did. We could do a whole conversation about the career and the filmography of George A. Romero. And maybe one day we should. We've covered some movies here on the channel already. We did Dark Half to kick off March Madness just a couple of weeks ago. We did the entire Dead franchise already on this channel. And let me tell you something. This may be the second George A. Romero movie that we're covering in 2026. And usually 2 films from a director is kind of like where we're at. Nope. There will definitely be a third, maybe a fourth George A. Romero movie covered on PCP Movie Night in 2026. I first watched this movie back in the early days of Netflix when you could rent DVDs through the mail, things that I didn't have access to. Movies like Suspiria, movies like Zombie, movies like Martin. So knowing who George A. Romero is because of the Dead at that time trilogy, right? They eventually did Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead. Hell, they even did Survival of the Dead. And you know what? I'll watch that fucking Looney Tunes ass movie again. That movie's stupid as hell, but I'll watch it again, dude. But George A. Romero. Did somebody say something?
No, I was just laughing when he said that.
Okay. Romero himself says, I feel like this is the best movie I ever did. And it has all of those things that we love about George's work. We have the cynicism of it. We have the social commentary. We also have the breakdown of horror genres, right? So George A. Romero with Night of the Living Dead creates the zombie, flesh-eating zombie like film genre. He creates it, he perfects it, everybody else rips him off, and he spends his entire career basically begging people to help him make a movie. And it's ridiculous to me. Romero should have been one of those guys that we look at today on the level of a John Carpenter, because I feel like there's a lot of similarities between those two directors, but maybe John worked a little bit better with Hollywood than George did. But this movie to me is incredibly important. So first of all, I think it's very interesting. It's an incredibly, immensely interesting take on vampire fiction. I can't think of another vampire movie that does it quite like this. The only other thing I can really think of would be something like Near Dark. Near Dark is a PCP favorite, but it kind of got overshadowed by one of the greatest, most successful vampire movies of all time, The Lost Boys. But The Lost Boys, they're vampires and they do their own take with it. Near Dark kind of put their own spin on it. But what Martin did, I don't think anybody else has ever done. I'm not saying it's the greatest vampire movie ever made. I definitely don't think that, but I do think it's one of the more important vampire movies ever made. And also, I'm putting that in quotes because a big part of this movie is Martin a vampire, or has he just been told he's a vampire so much that now he believes it? So there's a lot to unpack here with themes when we get to that. But I think it might be one of Romero's best films. It's not my favorite, but it might be one of Romero's best films because the moody and melancholy atmosphere is unlike anything else he ever did. You get bleak, apocalyptic cinema in his first film, Night of the Living Dead. You get an almost parody version of that in Dawn of the Dead. You see throughout his work, if you watched other than just his zombie films, if you watched films like Vanilla, There's Always Vanilla, if you've watched The Crazies, if you've watched and the Dark Half, like we did a couple weeks ago, but in particular, there's a movie called Night Riders. I think Night Riders might be a little bit better than this and more personal, but this comes across as a very personal film. It's got everything we want to know, and what we love about Romero is in this film. And, I do think it's underseen. It's hardly ever available. We talk all the time about why is Dawn of the Dead not on any streaming service that it could possibly be? Why is there not a physical media representation of Dawn of the Dead? Well, if you thought Dawn of the Dead was hard to find, Martin is even harder to find. The Second Sight set is awesome. First time ever on 4K, definitely first time on Blu-ray. And there was like 2 DVD releases or something like that. I sold one on eBay. It was like $80, anticipating a Blu-ray release would be right behind it. Took years for this thing to come out. So I'm glad I finally have this. It's amazing. Such a fan. Before I send it off to y'all, because you already know that I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over this movie. But I have met the star of this movie, John Amplis. There's me and John Amplis right there. There's me and Martin. Look at that, man. Dude, and I'm like 25 pounds lighter. Man, I got to get some shit in order. But when I met him, he was super cool. He loved talking about Martin. He played bit roles in movies like Day of the Dead. He was in Creep Show in a bit role. In fact, I don't know if we really touched on this, but in The Dark Half, he's the dude that's playing Timothy Hutton opposite of Timothy Hutton when they have to do the twin talking to the evil twin thing, right?
No shit.
So John Amplis is awesome. This is what I had him sign for me. So I'm going to solo myself out. He signed that for me, and it says, Robbie, there is no magic, John J. Amplis. So it was such a pleasure and honor to meet this dude. And he was like, holy cow, I can't believe you're here for Martin and not Day of the Dead. I was like, yeah, dude, I love Day of the Dead. My favorite Romero zombie film, but not my favorite Romero film. In fact, it's number 3. Number 2 is Martin. What's number 1? Find out around my birthday. Anyway, Jelani, you thought it was going to be your first watch. It's not. It brought up some memories. What do you think about Martin overall?
I am shocked that I didn't remember this movie until I saw it. I watched this movie probably 5 years ago. I think during the COVID nonsense. I think I saw it by accident. I don't even remember where I watched it, but I remember now. I remember watching it, and I thought that was all right. Oh, all right. This guy thinks he's a vampire, and he's gonna like drink people's bloods and all the things, and like he's very clumsy in his work, and I always thought that was like goofy. So the second time I seen it, on the second rewatch, I like it a little more. Something about it's a very ironic film. It's incredibly ironic, and even the way Martin goes out is very ironic. It's so weird and strange that this guy just I don't even know if that's like an actual medical thing where someone thinks that they're a vampire. I'm sure there's a medical term for that.
Yeah, it's called Vampire the Masquerade. That's the medical condition.
That is the medical condition. That sounds about right.
They did a whole episode of Buffy about it. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It's like all those people pretending to be vampires.
Pretending vampires. Like, oh yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, he plays it really well. His cousin is insane, of course, clearly insane. Every character in this movie is a character in some form or fashion, so you get certain things out of it. I have a favorite scene, which as we go through this movie, I will tell you what my favorite scene of this movie is, and it's so wild that, you know, of the wild things that happen in this film, it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like, there's no way that this scene happens for this movie to work. And it works. Every bit of this movie works in some form or fashion. It's a crazy film. And like I said, it's very ironic. It's just like a man thinks he's a vampire, but at the same time, he doesn't have the same vampire tropes. But then he lives with a man who completely believes that vampires exist and don't touch anyone in my town.
It's like, bro, if Van Helsing is your cousin, you have no choice but to believe that you're a vampire.
You have to believe that you're a vampire. There's no point. You know, mess with him, screw with him. What if honestly he wasn't? What if he had not done all the atrocities he did in this film and got away with it all this time just to get murked? You know, it's so wild. It's such a crazy movie. I'm so glad that I was able to watch it again. March Madness is becoming one of my favorite times of year to figure out, you know, what y'all crazy white people do, man. It's just wild. It's wild to me.
Don't put it on all of us, man. I've never drinking blood. Well, we'll move on. Cliff, what about you, man? You also thought this was your first time watch. Maybe not. What do you think about it overall? When did we tell him?
Yeah.
When did we tell him?
I don't know. He should know.
Cliff,
really?
You are truly a PCP Army member now. You're truly a member of the Excitable PCP crew because you just did the bit, dude. And when you did the bit without knowing it, Station, everybody, welcome.
Station. I'm opening my beer to you, brother. Good job, Station.
That's so great. And by the way, that's not the first time this happened to me. I think the first time it happened to me was with Fable a long time ago. And he was like,
well, Fable doesn't have the ability to induct anybody into the Excitable PCP
He does
crew.
not.
Yeah.
He does not have induction power. But you know, he certainly razzed me. You know, I was like, and for those of you who like to know more about induction power, DM me. So no, this movie was like really interesting. Again, I am absolutely gonna be a hardcore defender on the queer coding of this film with his. And by the way, he has delusional disorder, is what he has, right?
He has a delusion. Yes.
Yeah. So like that, and what's really funny. And it's thrust upon him by the crazy cousin, right? But the movie leaves an open door for, is he a vampire or not? And that's really interesting because the majority of the movie, we're really going through it as a psychological, story, until we get to the ending. And then we're like, I also loved, I guess we'll talk about that more. One thing George Romero does, his ability to capture his cinematography abilities are his and his alone, right? Following that woman across the staircase, watching him walk the streets lonely at night, capturing the rusting buildings, right? Contrasting it with the boys' black and white delusions. So incredibly powerful for a film so old that quite possibly was made on a shoestring budget. Like, it's very impressive.
$100,000 was the budget on this film.
Jeez.
How many drug dealers did he have to borrow money from? Because I don't know if y'all know, but that's what people had to do back then.
Or the mob. They had to borrow money from the mob.
Both equally terrifying.
Both drug dealers.
True.
Yeah.
Well, Romero didn't have to do that. That was Richard Rubinstein, who was the producer on the film. And here's what's crazy. So him and Rubinstein, when did they first meet? Was it There's Always Vanilla? It might be. This is not their first film, I don't think. Maybe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. You know what? These videos on YouTube live forever. Well, they don't live forever. They live for however long YouTube's going to be here and the civilization's going to be here. But he had arguments with his producer over this movie. The original cut was 155 minutes long, and he wanted to film it all in black and white. And so even doing independent filmmaking on your own, do-it-yourself stuff, he still had to make many compromises to make sure his vision came true.
Print of this film out there somewhere somebody bought for like $50,000.
Yes, they so when Second Sight did this release, the director's cut, the 155-minute version of this film, was found. They thought it was lost. It was found. Second Sight delayed the release of this so they could get a hold of it. However, the company that holds those rights, it just wasn't working out. So they couldn't do it, which really sucks. The other thing that sucks is this movie, this restoration, this movie was filmed on 16 millimeter. And then it was blown up to 35 millimeter for screenings. Very few screenings, but it was screened. So it was out there. In fact, it actually, what was the box office of this movie? It's not reported. And the reported budget is $250,000. But Rubinstein says, I thought that I needed to inflate the budget because I didn't want everybody coming to me for $100,000 to make a movie. Because it seemed like a very low number. So he ballooned that up. This movie did not make any money. I don't think it's ever made its budget back just because the distribution the distribution is always sucked in this movie and people are holding it back. Even that director's cut. Also, this movie was released in Europe with a different name. I think it was titled Vampire or something like that.
Vampire.
It has a goblin score on it. It has a goblin score. So I wonder if it was part of the deal with Argento. When Argento got the international and European rights to Dawn of the Dead for producing that and had a goblin score. However, the Martin release in Europe has a goblin score that is extra bits from Dawn of the Dead and other things. So it's not original goblin music, which is crazy. But they also tried to get the rights to that. They couldn't. But wouldn't it be cool to watch the original version, the 155-minute version, and the European version with a goblin score, even if it was piecemealed together from other compositions they did? Like, that would be freaking cool. I'm holding this upside down. Wouldn't that be freaking cool? I think that would be cool. Anyway, Cliff, I'm sorry. Go on.
No, that was great. I love a side story. But yeah,
that's a sidebar. This is a magazine. That was a little sidebar, right? That's that's good.
I love the knowledge you bring to the table. By the way, this man is still making money off Dune, the producer that you brought up. From Martin.
Oh, Rubinstein? Oh, did he do the David Lynch Dune?
Yeah. Warner Brothers had purchased the rights from him to make this movie. And it wasn't like a full purchase. It was just, we're going to pay you so we can make these Dune films. This man is just making money. I love that. He bought all the Dune rights, film rights in 1996. Anyhow, I love it, and he seems like a really interesting dude. But yeah, visually the movie's stunning, and then of course all of the social subtext about being different, feeling alienated. The visual backdrop of that. I mean, again, like I said, queer coded all the way. Don't care any which other way. You can't tell me it doesn't align with queer coding. But also like for a very modest budget, looks good. And I really like how certain shots very much echoed, Dracula, like Bela Lugosi Dracula, right? It's really cool that it's really cool when you're watching someone's work and you can see where their passion was, because it hits the screen, and it's like, oh man, he must have loved the old school Dracula. Like he's really channeling in here, and there's for a nobody actor, he brought a lot of emotional depth to the table, so I mean, I don't want to say too much. I feel like we have so much more to go over. So like I've got everything broken up into sections. You dig? But
Absolutely. Cliff, I know what you're saying because you want to say it all right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's pace ourselves. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. This is PCP movie night. And Matt's getting used to PCP movie night right now. He really, really is. And you joined us for Fade to Black last week. And I mentioned there's a lot of comparisons between these two films. And then we brought you on for this one. I'm excited to hear your thoughts. What do you think overall?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, this movie is kind of shocking in a way. I could imagine people in '77 seeing this movie, but also it's got kind of an emotional, like a heart to it, like in the center of it. Like it's very melancholy, but it's a very good movie. Like it seems like it's slow sometimes, but it's really not. I don't know if that makes any sense. But this is just like, if it wasn't like, if you're obviously George Romero, the master of horror, this would be like a cool indie flick. I mean, it is an indie film. Let's be honest, it is an indie film. But the only other vampire movie that I can even think that's like this is The Hunger, starring David Bowie and Susan Sarandon in the '80s.
Oh my God, I love that movie so much.
It's kind of like, but it's like taking this vampire thing as an addiction too. I can see what Cliff's talking about it being queer coded, but I can also feel like somebody's an addict, is ostracized by his family, and you also got this religious zealot for a cousin, who I'm from Kentucky, so he looks a lot like Colonel Sanders when he's wearing that white suit. Just being honest.
Damn it, you missed! Damn it!
Wait, you've never had Cuda fried chicken?
I was gonna say that shit. I was gonna say that shit immediately. He's wearing all white. He looks like Colonel Sanders.
It's kind of a mind if, you know what I mean? Because you're like, is he a vampire or does he believe he's a vampire? It's almost like, it reminded me also a little bit of that documentary, The Making of a Murderer. Can our society make somebody this way because of somebody's old beliefs, in the old world beliefs, are bringing the younger generation down? And I'm going to tell you, the cinematography, like Cliff is saying, this town he picked for this, it's like a Bruce Springsteen song come to life. You know what I mean? Like, you could have done the album Darkness on the Edge of Town could have been the soundtrack for this film.
Yeah.
And it also reminds me of that. Remember Born in the USA, the lyric where he goes, born down in a dead man's town, the first kick I got was when I hit the ground. That's what I thought of when I first saw that lyric, when I saw this town, just like, because this is like the time period in America where we had the gas crisis was getting ready to happen, or it was going on. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of people that have no confidence in what was going on at all, which could parallel what's going on right now, because we just came out of the Vietnam War. We treated our veterans like shit. Sorry for the language. I didn't mean to. I try to watch my language, Robbie, on your show. Sorry. But like,
you do not have to watch the language on my show. What the fuck are you talking about?
I think Jimmy
Robbie had to have a language barrier on his show.
I'm trying to be on my best behavior. I mean, I'm a guest. So
that was really nice of you, Matt. But like, my God, have you not seen him before?
I'll just say that, like, I've never seen it, but I've heard a lot about it. Like, I've heard Eli Roth and a lot of these directors talk about it. And I'm really glad that I volunteered to be on this one last week, because it's actually a very beautiful film, and it's kind of heartbreaking, and it kind of we'll get into the scenes later. I won't get into all that, but there's a lot going on in this movie. There's a lot to take in, and I'll shut up. I mean, I'll just end and say this: Robbie, he's on the same level as Carpenter. Carpenter's influenced by Romero. Romero was doing the same thing with oblique social references in his films, and he got it from George Romero. Let's be honest, and I'm sure John Carpenter would tell you the same thing. But I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Carpenter loves Romero, credits him often. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Romero should be considered at least on the level of Carpenter, and which is crazy because I think Carpenter is not considered on the level that he should be considered at. We're talking Halloween, The Thing, and They Live Alone are 3 movies that should cement that guy as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time.
Ghost of fucking Mars, bro.
Carry
Ghost of
John
Mars.
Carpenter's jockstrap in a suitcase. Sorry.
Well, hold on a second, Jelani. Why did you mention Ghost to Mars? That's not the film that should be
It's
mentioned.
the greatest film ever made.
Everybody has a miss, bro. Even the greats. Come on now.
That's what I'm saying.
Mars.
And so because Carpenter would work with Hollywood because he had here's the thing. Maybe here's the difference. Halloween's a huge success. Halloween is John Carpenter's Halloween. John Carpenter went out of the way in his career to make sure that he had creative direction, creative control. It's usually known, like John Carpenter would fight to have his name above the title. What filmmakers do that? No filmmakers do that. Martin Scorsese doesn't go, Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't do that, right?
Carpenter was the first filmmaker, though. Starman is an underrated film, too.
Starman's great. We covered that last year,
Yeah,
dude.
I talked about it.
Dude, Carpenter is amazing, in my opinion, dude. I love Carpenter. Maybe not so much Ghost of Mars or Vampires, but they all
Vampires is awesome.
Oh, yeah, with James Woods.
I love Vampire with James Woods.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
James.
I get it. I get it. Okay. Watch The Ward and then tell me. Okay. The Ward would be a better example. If anybody's watched The Ward,
This is even fun.
Prince of Darkness is the fucking shit and underappreciated. And his greatest underappreciated movie for John Carpenter is In the Mouth of Madness. So I'm just gonna say, all right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That movie's fucking brilliant. We did that for the very inaugural March Madness 5 years ago. We did In Mouth of Madness. We did Event Horizon. We did 2 Sam Neill movies. That was awesome. Anyway, so let me wrap this up so I can throw it to Brooks. Carpenter worked more with Hollywood studios than Romero did. Romero's more of a maverick than Carpenter is, but it doesn't mean that Romero didn't do that. And when Romero worked for Hollywood, yeah, we got bangers like Dark Half, but we also got shit movies like Monkey Shines. So I don't know. But then you got Creepshow. I think Romero and Hollywood could have worked a little bit. You know what? No, they couldn't have, because Hollywood doesn't understand the maverick independent filmmaker. Right, and that still is alive today. I mean, watch the Academy Awards last night. You know that Hollywood still doesn't fucking get it, right? So there you go. And I don't have any opinion on those awards necessarily.
Begonia was robbed.
I'm just
Who
glad.
was robbed?
Begonia.
Maybe, but
With
I want
Jesse,
to say, seeing sinners win, weapons win. It gave me feels. It gave me feels. That's how
Yeah, one after another deserved what they got. It was a good movie. I think everybody.
And let's be honest, like, not to get too far into it, but I like Timothy Chalamet. But if he would have won for Marty Supreme, such a mid-ass film, I would have thought that that's Hollywood not
Agreed.
understanding.
Agreed.
You know,
Yeah,
you know
the film
what?
was mid. Never saw it.
And
No,
let
you
me tell
don't see it. It's not.
Yeah,
worth
don't
it.
see. Don't a ping pong film. Let me tell you, he worked his
It's
ass
ping
off
pong.
to promote that film. All right, but strike one is always dating a Kardashian. But strike two, don't go on a CNN town hall and freaking come out and say, "Oh yeah, no one cares about theater." Do you know that his mother and sister both graduated from the American School of Dance? You know,
Yeah.
and you're gonna talk shit about ballet and
Yeah.
no.
I was on my
Politics,
Dynamite. I was
baby.
on my Dynamite show earlier, right,
Those
with
politics,
Rex, and Rex
baby.
hasn't seen these movies, and I haven't either. But we were talking about it, and he goes, "You know what? I didn't want Timothy to win because it seemed like he went heel. He was mean." And I even said, "You know what? I know from experience, if you're doing a year of the heel, you don't win any awards. It's just what happens,
You
man.
go home, you go home,
You
you
don't
go
sell
home
the
empty-handed,
t-shirts.
baby.
You don't sell the t-shirts to the kids when you turn.
That being said, I forgot to mention, but any super chat we get tonight, a portion of those proceeds will go to buy Timothy Chalamet an In-N-Out burger. So super chat along, please. We would love
His
to do
butt
that.
is hurt.
Because
We would really love to help support that young gentleman.
Michael B. Jordan blew up In-N-Out Burger last
You
night.
deserve that on that.
That was
Dude, that was the hypest In-N-Out burger's ever been.
When I win an award, I'm gonna go.
That was the
over-
hypest
Okay,
In-N-Out
mine
has
was-
ever been, and that was obviously LA. But you know what? I've never had In-N-Out burger. Never had it.
They're overrated, bro. To be honest, if you Culver's, if you guys have ever had Culver's,
We just got Culver's in town.
We just
Actually,
got
Is it worth
Culver's.
it?
it
Yeah.
will change your life.
Get a goal.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, we just got a Freddy's in town and a Del Taco, and I gotta tell you something. You guys know me; I'm a big Taco Bell guy, but Del Taco's the fucking shit, man. Like that's some real
They got
good
some
shit.
tacos though. I want a shrimp
I am
tacos.
not
Yeah.
eating a shrimp taco from any fast food restaurant, dude. I don't give a
I'm
fuck.
definitely doing
I
that.
stand by, and I stand by that no one serves a burger as good as I do. You know, so all of them are inferior.
Fair enough.
All right, well, serve
You
20
can
million
buy
burgers
burgers,
a day, Cliff. Then talk to me. All right, Hey, there you
I
go.
don't need to serve 20 million a day. I just need to show up at your place, do a movie marathon starting with Suspiria, and I'll make some burgers.
We'll have a goddamn burger. We'll have
know
a
the
burger
best
off,
burger I've
man.
had in a
I
while?
make good burgers too, man.
The best burger I've ever had so far, double quarter pounder with cheese from McDonald's. Yep, that's right. I said it.
That's a weird thing to say. Brooks, let's get to you. We're running long
That's
already.
tiny bites. That's tiny bites.
Overall thoughts, Brooks. First time watch, Martin. For you, what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't know, it was a vampire movie at first, of course. I figured it was kind of like a serial killer movie. Yeah, it kind of is and it kind of isn't.
Are you putting together the theme of March Madness? Is that what you're doing?
Sort of, yeah. But yeah, this was it's an interesting movie, because the antagonist is the thing in this movie, and he has he has a strange transition where sometimes he seems super cool and mysterious and shit, but then the more he talks, the more you remember oh yeah, this guy's a fucking loser, this guy's he's just a weirdo, but like I say, I don't think he was supposed to be a vampire. I think it was all in his head. But I could see it being also interpreted as him actually being a vampire, because a vampire, it doesn't necessarily have to have supernatural connotations, I suppose. But
Yeah, like Near Dark, right? Like Near
Yeah.
Dark, there's no supernatural thing. It's all scientific, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's he obviously doesn't have the aversion to the cross or any of that stuff.
There is no magic,
Yeah, he doesn't.
right?
Yeah, he doesn't believe in magical stuff. He loves to he taunts his cousin with the fake fangs and the cave.
Dude, that's a crazy bit in this movie. Think about this. This is a movie that asked the question, because to kind of elaborate on what you were saying, George A. Romero, when he first put together the script, the idea is that Martin is a vampire. But then he goes, you know what? This movie's more interesting if that's ambiguous. If it's is he, or is it because that's what he's told that he is? And he did layer in the idea thematically of addiction, and addiction through generational influence, right? So he throws that in. If your family are alcoholics and drunks, and you are told that that's what you are and what you're going to be, what do you become? Right. And it's a sad story, but what the story that we are told before we can define the ability to tell ourselves our story, the story that is told about us becomes our story. Right. And that's very fucking crazy to me. So initially there was that idea that he was a vampire, but then it goes ambiguous. Then there was another point I was going to make. I forgot it. So continue on and I'll remember it and interrupt you in probably a minute and a half.
He does that. That's the thing.
I'm talking to you, Brooks. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Hold up. I got to let the dog in.
Here come Juju. Go get Juju. Save his life.
Yeah. Go let the dog in. I mean, I don't even remember I had a point. I made a good point, and then I had another point, and I forgot. Oh, the idea that what was it? Anyway, Steph, Link, what do you think about the movie? You've covered this on Dylan's Horror Show with me. You've covered it on Blood Splatter Chatter with me. And both of those times we covered this film, I feel like you weren't on board with it as much as I was.
No.
And I was shocked when you said, I'm down for Martin. This time, I'm excited to hear what you think about it on your maybe fourth or fifth time watching.
So as I was saying earlier, I've had an interesting journey with this one. First couple times I just didn't get it. Like I was like, okay, he's like it's not really scary. He's supposed to be a vampire, It's but upon my most recent watch, like it's not about that. Like it's actually just like it's an intimate character study of this dude who's, like you guys were saying earlier, who's been ostracized, who's suffering from loneliness, and like eventually what he's been told, he morphs into the monster that people have been projecting onto him, to varying degrees. But yeah, once I got behind that, it is, and I love the fact that it's ambiguous. I think that's one of the strengths of the film, is that it leaves it open to you. Like if you want him to be like a vampire, like a more realistic vampire, he could easily have been that. But if you want just a dude who's suffering from loneliness, that it could be that too. It's a very interesting film. I would definitely say it's one of Romero's stronger film. I agree with him. If he feels like this is his best film, like I feel like he's often got stumped into saying his films, but this one, seeing it through a different lens, it feels very personal, and that's relating to him. But I could see this like relating to a lot of people who might feel, ostracized or put off from society, and it's very it's a poignant, resonant film even to today. I'm glad I gave this one another chance. Upset I didn't understand it the first couple watches, but yeah, I'm a fan now.
Heck yeah, man. I love it. Dude, I tell you what, the first time I ever watched this film, I liked it because I didn't feel like it was like other films, but I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? It took a few watches for me to really feel like I could dive into this movie and understand. That's why I mentioned that it's Fade to Black is another one of those movies. We talked about it last week, where I feel like at first glance, it's not as deep to a viewer as it actually is, or as it actually can be, because how deep a film is or not is a subjective experience, right? But I think this is a movie that rewards multiple watchings, and it's one of the shorter Romero movies, which is crazy. A lot of his movies I think are a little over edited, maybe a little over long in particular. This one, like I said, came in at 155 minutes. Like they were like, you got to cut this. So he actually hired somebody to come and tell him what to cut out of the film. And the producers and the cinematographer mentioned in all the special features how sad it was watching Romero have to, like, you're right, I got to cut this. I got to shorten this film to make it available or make it like, work. And the sad thing is it just never really worked. Anyway, the cast, the performances, the characters, they're so good. There's so many to choose from. I don't want anybody to take my favorite. So I'm going to go ahead and start with George A. Romero himself as Father Howard.
Father Howard.
Yep.
Now, I've left y'all plenty of meaty characters to dive into, right?
You ain't wrong.
But there is something so funny to me about Romero's performance. First of all, Romero is making a statement about traditional fundamentalist religion in this movie, right? Especially that kind of fundamentalism that's kind of conditioned generationally, right? Where me and Jelani and Brooks, we live in Alabama. We live in the South. You're in Kentucky, Matt. I'm sure you get this too.
I grew up in a fundamentalist church.
Religion, spirituality, it becomes a generational thing, right? And superstition becomes involved in that, right? And judgment from your family gets involved in that. And what I love about Romero's performance as the priest is he's playing the priest as a hip guy in 1977.
And a drunkard.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what, dude. Y'all know my story. I could have been easily a preacher.
Easily.
I would have been this motherfucker. I would have been the guy going, no, water, please. No, cake. Can I have more of that wine over there? That's really good. And did you see The Exorcist? That movie's pretty good. I think it's good. Oh, what are you saying? Oh, what do I think about demonic possession? He laughs about these supernatural ideas, but he's trying to be so respectful. But then my favorite thing, and this is another thing that I do that he does, this character, Father Howard in this film, is when you get uncomfortable or you're just like, I can't take this seriously. You go, oh, you should talk to Father Jelani about this one, man. He's really big into Fast and Furious, or something like that, right? That's like the same equivalent. But dude, his performance is so good. The way he's like eating his food and drinking his fucking wine, and the way he like laughs and he's holding back the laugh and the ridicule, dude, that's a strong performance from a director, because usually directors that perform in their own films for longer than like 20 seconds, it doesn't work as well as it does here. And it also works in a lot of Romero films where he does a little bit of a cameo. What about you, Jelani? What's a performance you want to highlight?
Man, bro. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm taking Colonel Sanders. Like, he... Tata, what is it? Tata Kuda?
Kuda, yeah.
He's one of those characters where, Kuda is like, immediately, I don't like him. Like, immediately. He's like, don't no one from the town. No one does this. He's just such an asshole. Like, he is Van Helsing. He is Van Helsing to Martin's Dracula. And he's one of the craziest characters. And I'm pretty sure he was the one in Night of the Living Dead. It was on the TV that was like telling people to like what places to go to. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
I'll have to look into that. It might be that would make sense because Romero used a lot of local Pittsburgh actors. That actor is Lincoln Mazel. Lincoln Mazel is that guy's name. So I have to look into that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's the same guy. And
dude, how great is it?
He reminds me of that dude. This movie on the
dude, what I'm saying is like this movie has a tongue-in-cheek quality where there's humor where there shouldn't be. It's kind of a dark comedy, and it starts with Kuda being like, Martin, my cousin, welcome. I'm going to save your soul and then kill you. Right? Like it's just like there's this weird matter
and then kill you.
And he's playing it so straight and so convincingly real. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, he's one of those characters who just takes his lines. He knows what he's going to say. He says it, and it's impressively stoic every chance he gets. Like he's smacking his niece in the face, or that's his daughter. I can't remember. Or his granddaughter. I think it's his granddaughter that's in the face, and she smacks her again. And I'm like, bruh, he's such a hardliner. He's just one of these Catholics that just holds on to his pain and knows that there's evil in this world, and he must be the one to get rid of it. And it's so impressive because I remember now that I've seen it a second time. And when he finally kills Martin, but he kills Martin not for all of the other murders that he has already committed, even the murder on the train, all of the other murders that he has committed.
Well, he will allow the other murders. He says just don't murder within the town, right?
He was Batman in a way, just don't fuck with his town.
He's been killing in the town.
You can kill whoever you want in Metropolis, but don't you dare kill anybody in Gotham.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the crap, dude? But one girl suicides. He doesn't have time to like think about it. He just kills Martin without even like investigating. I know it wasn't a suicide. I know this. Now you must die. And I'm like,
that's the irony you were talking about earlier, is because it's like, out of all the deaths that Martin was responsible for, that's not what he got killed for,
I thought he killed him because he gave up Colonel's secret recipe.
Yes.
Why 11 spices?
The spices were never meant to leave this household.
That's a great picture, Laney,
That's
man.
right,
A great
never
performance.
again.
He's
No, I choose
very.
him.
I want to say he's the same guy who's in The Amusement Park by Romero, which just finally got released several years ago on Shudder and on after his death. A lot of his stuff got released. So, yeah, man. And unfortunately, yeah, George A. Romero is no longer with us, which sucks because he never, I don't think, truly got to understand, or he never really got to truly reap the benefit of being as impactful of a filmmaker as he is. Right? He heard it from a lot of people, but I don't think he ever believed it. What about you, Cliff? What's a performance you want to highlight?
Well, since he took Lincoln already, I'm going to go with John Amplis. I'm going to go with Martin himself, you know, because I mean, he is the heart of this movie, and he's great. You know,
You're talking about that guy right there.
I'm talking about that guy right there.
Look at that guy rocking a ponytail, however old he is.
He's over 70, even when you met him. So time was not good to that head of hair. So still love and respect his work. No, but like, you know, it was I was sad for him, even when he is committing these very intimate and disturbing murders. I was like feeling really bad for him, you know, like if anyone took time to genuinely understand him, you know. So yeah, I feel like he sold it. I mean, between him and the character, that sense of loneliness, that sense of separation from society, all of that worked really, really, really well. And I was impressed. I thought he was great. I love that he even played it up when he was going after his cousin, like putting in the teeth, you know, like there's just so much that there was some humor. But like even like when he had that girl knocked out and he's like draining her blood, like it was just like it was just sadness. It was just sadness, you know. And then of course, you know, the way he had to die. I was like, of course, like a monster movie. That's what it goes.
That had to be a fucking shock in the fucking 70s, bro. People who went and saw that shit, like, okay, they're like, okay, he's a vampire, maybe he's not a vampire, but at the end, he just gets fucking staked through the chest.
It happened so suddenly, dude. He's like, and then the movie's over. Like, oh, dude, that's like Coen Brothers shit, dude. You know what I'm saying? This like tornado, movie's over. What? What? Well, I don't understand. What just happened? Did they die? It doesn't matter. What matters is the journey, and the abrupt ending is very lifelike, in my opinion. Great pick. Amplis should have had a more profound career, I think, in my opinion. And talking with him, he doesn't feel that way, which is crazy. He's so thankful and grateful, like that he can go to a show and have a 20-minute conversation with someone like me talking about this movie that very few people remembered. Like that lit him up, and it was such a great conversation. What about you, Matt? Always have great conversations with you, but you're a little bit full of yourself, unlike John Amplis. So what is a performance you want to highlight?
I don't know if I'm full of myself.
That's
you know, is it the housewife? Is her name Abby? I think.
I don't remember her first name. It's Mrs. Santini, right?
Yeah. Okay. They're played by actress named
his girlfriend,
Maddow. Yeah, she was kind of heartbreaking, man. I mean, I've never seen her in a movie. I mean, she may have been in another one of his movies or something. I don't know, but really, I thought she was a great actress. I mean, and she's playing this sad housewife. You know, she just feels so neglected, and she just giving up on life. And she finds this young man, and she wants to. I don't know. She just can't be happy. You know, I've been like that before. I mean, not maybe to the point of being in a bathtub with a razor blade, but you know, things get bleak. This movie's kind of bleak in a lot of ways. But really, I thought it was just a heartbreaking performance, in my opinion. I thought that her and John Peasley, I thought they had a good. I probably missed his name. I'm sorry. I'm still getting used to all the names. Amplis. I thought they had a pretty good chemistry together. So
yeah, she was really good. She's really good, Matt. Like, I'm glad you mentioned her because She is so good in this movie because she is so tragic. It
Yeah,
is so sad.
It's
We know from the beginning what is going on with her, right? And Martin doesn't know, and that's what makes it even sadder, right? Isn't what did I do? Did I do something? It's not about you, Martin. Like, and you just pick it up through subtle details in the script where she's expressing who she is and where she is.
Like there's that
What's
moment
going
where her and Martin are like laying in not like a field or whatever, but like Martin's laying on her lap and she's asking him about the vampire stuff and shit. And she's like, I wish you would pull that on me or something. Like, you know, she gave a lot of subtleties into where her headspace was at.
Yeah. Does she say something like, I wish somebody would put me out of my misery or something like that, right?
Like he says, well, some people say it is contagious. And she was, I wish it was. Maybe I could catch it. You know.
That's right. She's like, maybe you can like maybe I could catch it and then blah blah blah. And like, dude, she's such a sad character, man. It really, really is profoundly tragic. And I think the older we get and the more we have experience with people and what people go through, the more profound and poignant that performance and that character actually comes across. So that's a really great pick. What about you, Brooks?
Well, like it's something. It's kind of just like, you know, a quaint thing I remember from back in the day. But the I'm gonna take the gang of thugs in the parking lot, the young ruffians.
Yeah.
They love to like just catcall women trying to put groceries in their car. Like, it's a novel concept.
Like, what's going on there, man? Like, I don't understand. Like, are they supposed to be scared of them because they're like? It almost comes across racist to me.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they're just young. They're just young men who are like, you know, I guess they're being annoying, but not particularly threatening. But you know, they could be.
I ain't never been to a grocery store at any point in my life, and I know I was born in '81, so maybe '77.
We missed the window, dude. They were all extinct by the time we were born.
Yep.
Well, I think it actually adds to the. I think it's actually adding. Maybe I think that bit's adding to a bit of the theme of like the urban decay, right?
Yeah.
Talking about how the city is like decaying, and everybody is like looking for any opportunity they have to make money. Like Tom Savini's character Arthur keeps talking about, I got to find a job. I got to find a good job. We know what the story was in Pittsburgh in the late 70s. Industries are leaving. They're going to other countries. They're going to other cities, tax breaks, things like that. Pittsburgh, and this film was, I don't remember the name of the town, Branford. It starts with a B, something like that. But it's a town right outside of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had a whole industry leave them. That city died and is still dying in front of people, right? And Romero really kind of talks about that. And it's happened in many cities in America that like were founded over industry, right? Like Link, you're in the Detroit area, right? So that's like a thing that you see, right? But there's still a city there, right? But especially when it first happens, like in this movie, the outskirts of this town of Pittsburgh, man, they really get that across. And I think it comes across with the people as well, like a decay of just life, right?
I mean, well, to add on to that scene, I could also see it like speaking on like Martin's depravity, right? In a way, like there's it's like he's trying, you know, he is struggling throughout the film. It's like he doesn't necessarily want to do this, is what I took from it, but he's like stuck in this like this addiction, you know, like this sick addiction. And you know, there's instances where he's like trying to fight it off, but this is an instance where it's like this is a moment where he could step in and do the right thing, but he's preying on that situation where he sees that she's like, oh, she's kind of intimidated by those dudes. I'm good. That's a good target. I'm gonna follow her home. Yada yada yada. Yeah. So I think it's a good scene on speaking like, you know, his struggles at that point as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very there's more nuance in this film than I think we lead into it. And I think Brooks has got a good point where even those dudes that are giving those women a hard time at the grocery store are kind of like representative of what's really going on in this movie. What about you, Link? What's a performance you want to highlight?
I'm going to go with Stina, man. the Tudakata, whatever his name was, niece, she's like the only person beyond Abby that really kind of tried to understand Martin, give him a chance. And then, like, you guys, she was like the only person to come from the aspect. You guys keep trying to villainize this man. Of course he's gonna, there's gonna be some fruition from that. The only person that really tried to help him or try to consider getting him help in a way. And she had a really great scene with Tudakata where he's like bitching about something, and she's like, "Fuck that word." Well, but that's the gist of what it was. And he like slaps her. That was the scene where he slaps her. But I love that she was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, fuck your couch." Like, she was the only one with like common sense in the film.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Dude, she's great. So that's Christine Forrest, who eventually becomes Chris Romero, who she marries George A. Romero, right? I think they divorced and split shortly, a little bit, maybe a few years before his death. But that's where they met, was on this film. And she eventually became his wife. She's in a lot of his movies, including Dawn of the Dead and Night Riders and Creepshow and beyond. And that character is so good because let's talk about that tragedy, right? She does see Martin. She understands Martin more than anybody in this film. But what's the scene when she leaves? Martin says, "No, you're going to forgive me." That's so sad because we know that's true, right? But how bold of emotion in this movie for that character to tell Kuda, "I'm leaving. And don't worry, I ain't going to have no kid with him." And this is the most real part of this fucking movie. Tom Savini's just my way out. I don't even like this fucking asshole, but he's my way out of this shit ass fucking town with no opportunities and no future. Right? And out of all of the tragedies in this movie, she's the non-tragedy because she does escape.
Get up out.
Right? She gets up out of there, man. Her and Tom Savini, I'm sure she dumped that motherfucker as soon as she could. Rightly so, because obviously there's the illusion that he's like cheating on her and shit like that. But man, some great performances. Nobody mentioned Tom Savini, by the way. First acting role, I believe, from Tom Savini. He was hired on to do the special effects. He was a Pittsburgh native as well, a native of that area. He was going to be a part of Night of the Living Dead, but he actually was serving in Vietnam. We all know that he was a wartime photographer in Vietnam, and that unfortunately, in a very macabre sense, really gave way into like why he's so good as a special effects guy and what he does. And even the small level, like middle school, high school level special effects that are done in this movie are very effective. And he's a big part of that. That's part of me, or to me, of the style and structure. Let's get into it. I love the style of this movie. It's gritty. It's dark. It's textured. That shows that decaying element of the city. You look at the use of the locations in this movie. So George A. Romero is having to work with what he has. His cinematographer in this movie was the first time he ever worked with Michael Gornick, who he worked with in many movies after, and then they had a falling apart after Day of the Dead, I should say. But he was from the area. The film is filmed like the household that is filmed in is the household of the cinematographer's parents. That's their house. Like Kuda's house is their house. All the same shit. It looks barren, right? Then there's another friend's house who they went to for that awesome scene. Maybe the best sequence in the movie when Martin goes for the kill and he expects the woman to be alone and she's got a cheating partner there with her. That scene is done in a different location, but look at how distracting that location is. But Romero does such a great job of making sure that the geography of that household we understand. When he's like running up, running down, he's on the other phone, he's locking people in, he's locking people out. That's an incredibly Hitchcockian type paced scene when it comes to the suspense, right? But it's gritty and it's dark. It's on 16 millimeter, blown up for 35 millimeter. for this Blu-ray, they had no 16 millimeter original to go to, so they had to go to the one that was blown up. It even adds to that quality. It looks great in the most recent remaster. There's very little dialogue, but everything gets across in this movie. They don't always nail it on the head. They do, but not in the way that's like obnoxious, if that makes sense, right? And I love how we've talked about it a little bit, but how it plays with the ambiguous nature of, is he a vampire? Is he not? Does he have to feed on blood? And now I just remembered what I was going to say when Brooks was talking earlier. Here's the thing. Is he a vampire? Is he not a vampire? The whole point is it doesn't matter, right? Like, what's the difference? If he's a vampire, do we forgive him for his acts because they're part of a need? Or if he's not a vampire, do we condemn him because we don't feel like they're a need? Well, what if the idea of vampirism is addiction or genetically inherited, like disease or something? Like,
I was thinking earlier, like, if you replace the whole vampirism backdrop with like just a suffering drug addict, and it, like, the movie would still kind of play out, slight differences, but thematically it would still play out the same. Like, so that's it's really one of the cooler things about it, or the strengths of it, like the ambiguity of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, structure-wise, I love that ending. I love how abrupt it is. Like I mentioned Coen Brothers earlier.
Tragic, yeah.
I love that shit because that's how life ends, man.
No grand.
Unfortunately, we're all of age now where we've dealt with tragedy, we've dealt with death, we've dealt with unexpected loss, and it happens like that. You don't always know that it's coming. Sometimes you do, and that even seems more tragic. But when it's like an accident, or when it's a health issue that just came up and just done, it's just like, how many times in life do we go through those moments? And I think movies need to really capture that feeling more, and movies like Martin do. So I love that because it gives us that gut punch, right? I don't know, man. I love this film. I love the structure of it. It's the shortest, I think, maybe Night of the Living Dead's around the same runtime, but a lot of his movies, as much as I love Romero, his movies run long. But one of his strengths is as an editor. And I love how this movie goes from frantic editing to slow and deliberate and measured editing. Like, look at that opening scene with the train, right? Where you like bust in on the lady. You see this, like, he's like building up to it. It's slow. He's about to go. What's he about to do? Then we go into his like fantasy. I also love that about the structure. We see these black and white fantasy, or are they history of Martin, right? And then that moment in particular where he goes into that cabin car, he's fantasizing about what it's going to be like. He's going to walk in, woman's going to be like cleavaged out like this, ready for him to like put his vampire spell on. And he even says that in the movie. There is no magic. You can't make people do what you want them to do. You have to force it, right? And then it gets frantic, and the pace like goes very kinetic, and then it slows down again. Same thing with that middle scene that we were talking about with where he breaks into the woman's bedroom with another lover. Like, I love the pace and how George A. Romero is playing with the editing on that. Style and structure. What do you think, Jillian?
I agree. This movie is very, like I said, it's also very haphazard in the way he's telling it, because it is ambiguous. You don't know if this guy is like a vampire or not. I will agree on this though. He is a serial killer, and he's a serial killer with a pattern. He's got a very good pattern of killing and hiding his what he's doing, but he's also telling on himself on a radio show. Where he's calling, people are calling in and telling their crazy secrets, but he's like,
and that's got to be a reference to Coast, right? Yeah. Any but Coast to Coast fans here, man, that's got to be a reference.
Art Bell for life, baby.
He's talking about Martin, man. The first season is just incredible, but it is what it is, man. It's one of these films where it's structured to where you have to make sure that you're paying attention. The man is a killer. The man is a killer no matter what you calls it. You're not supposed to like him at the beginning at all. He murders.
Quick question to you, Delaney: is it different if he is a vampire?
No, nothing changes.
Exactly.
And plus, vampires, the vampirism of it. The thing about it is, by the way, vampire, worst thing to ever be. I would never want to be a vampire. I think I've said this numerous times. You can't even.
I'd rather be a vampire than a werewolf, in my opinion.
I'd
I know that you choose werewolf over vampire, which is weird to me.
Zombie, then.
I would never be a vampire. I couldn't. I don't want to sleep at night because I'm a summer child.
Werewolf, the transformation is painful sometimes, but shit, you survive the shit.
But you survive it. I wouldn't want to be the American werewolf in London. Werewolf. I wouldn't want to kill my victims and then see them right in front of me.
You want to be the howling type of werewolf that's like getting laid on a commune somewhere.
I'm a night owl, so being a vampire would bother me. I stay up at night.
I'd want to be that werewolf. But what I'm saying is this: he has this condition, which is a mental condition. This is why it's March Madness. How it's structured to where he, like you said before, he has a vision of what he wants to see. He wants to happen, and it doesn't happen that way. It's life. Life is kicking him in the balls, and he wants to be this serial killer, but he has delusions of grandeur on top of it, and he's a narcissist, even though he doesn't share that he's a narcissist. It is all about him and all about his hunger and what he wants to do. And he said, like he's talking to the radio show host. I can't do this every day. I saw a monster movie where he does it every night. I can't do it every night. I got to do it. I got to strip it out.
I agree he's a very fucked up serial killer, but I don't know about the narcissism because it's like even him.
He's a loser that thinks highly of himself. He does.
I don't know if he thought too highly of himself, but it's like him calling to the radio station. He wanted himself to be caught. That was a part of his
Well, I think him calling to the radio station is kind of like therapy, dude. I don't think he thinks very highly of himself, man, at all. Yeah, I agree with Link. I don't think he thinks highly of himself.
Well, I think it's. Yeah, well, I mean, I understand. I get both perspectives. I get it.
I can never do the sexy things,
but he's not the sexy
with anybody that was awake.
But
what a weird fucking line. And I love how the radio host is like, anyway, tell us about vampirism more, Martin.
Right. But he has this, I don't know, it's just something about him. I think it is all about him, and he's getting away with it, which goes to my favorite scene of the movie, which isn't any of the scenes that you guys mentioned, which is the scene where he is running away after he kills the homeless people. He beats the homeless people and drinks that guy's blood. And then he runs away from the police who are chasing him. And the police are chasing him. Basically, this is the end of the movie. This is the high point of the movie. This man is running from the cops. He's about to face accountability for all the murders he has committed. But he doesn't. He runs into those street thugs. Those street thugs have an actual shooting match with the police.
Dude, it's that one dude. That one dude is the dude from Dawn of the Dead in the beginning who's like, shoot in the head, man. What's wrong with you?
Right. It's just, and you have this entire scene, this fucking absurd fucking scene, which no one should have lived in, but Martin survives all of it. Everyone dies. And he totally gets away. He gets away with it. And I'm like, I was watching this scene. The first time I saw this scene, I was like, what the fuck? The second time I saw the scene, I was like, what the fuck? he totally gets away. And by the way, he's gotten away this entire movie. And this is the biggest crime.
Get fucking away a few times before they finally caught his ass.
And he was never caught. Technically, he was never caught. His cousin found him and thought that he killed that lady in this church, but he didn't.
That's a weird thing, dude, right? Where like he does get his comeuppance for what he's done, but not for the reason.
But not for the reason,
right? It's like he gets killed for the one thing that he didn't do.
Because that last scene where he's running from the cops, there's a big shootout and fire and stuff going on, gunfire. It almost reminded me of the movie I reviewed the first week of March Madness. American Psycho, when Bell has a shootout with that cop and the cop car blows up because he shoots with a Glock, which is
very similar, yeah.
There's a lot of comparisons, yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and is it all in his head or not? I don't know.
Right.
Exactly. And I love movies like this. Jelani, you're making great points, man.
It happens. But structurally, it's pretty sound. That's my favorite scene. Period. Stylishly, I mean, it's clunky to me, but it still works. I love the first scene where he when he's clumsily doing it, he's clumsily trying to get this lady, and he thinks it's going to work out, and it plays into him not really having a method. Like, he has a method, just go to sleep, just go, all I want you to do is go to sleep, motherfucker, get better drugs. I don't know what
that's why it adds to the anxiety in the middle of the film, where it's even more unexpected, where there's another person there, right? And like it just adds this whole thing. And then the anxiety of, imagine what it's like, somebody just shoots you with a fucking needle, right? Like, what did you shoot me with? Like, that's crazy. Like, imagine that, dude. I would be fucking terrified. Yeah, I would rip a motherfucker's throat out, dude. I would try to fucking kill that motherfucker. Whoever shot me with something I didn't know, I would kill you. I would kill you.
I mean, let's try to really get in the mindset of this situation, all right? Like, they're about to fuck, right? So people are very relaxed when this is about to go on, usually.
Hey, guy, let's not get crazy about this, right?
Yeah. And then she's like, I don't even know who this motherfucker is. And then he gets stuck with something. Like, he's in panic mode, bro.
How scary is that when she goes, I don't know this guy?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
It's wild.
And then you're trying to call the police and all you hear is a goddamn Dead Mouse song or some shit, man. Like, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Dead Mouse songs. Oh my God.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah. Cliff, what do you think about the style and structure of the film?
You said everything I want to say about style and structure for this freaking movie. Like, but I from what I said before, it's gritty. The town is decaying, rusting, sad, empty streets, dimly lit interiors. The black and white fantasy, like, that takes place, that is a stark contrast to this shit environment that we're introduced to. And then, like, that there's like oh my God, like that. So what I really like about this is, like, other movies that I watched recently, like 12 Monkeys, like Vertigo, like Woman in the Window, that the cinematography is really trying to reflect for the viewer what is going on for the lead, right? And so I really, really, really enjoy that. And then, as you said, the pacing is very slow, very deliberate. The focus here is on mood and tone over action.
How many shots of this movie are just Martin wandering the fucking town?
Yeah, but again, it delivers. It delivers on that sense of isolation, right? It's helping you get inside what he's feeling in his head. And I thought that was really well done. And of course, you're going to get into music. The score, what was his name? Donald Rubinstein, right? So I know I watched the original score because I didn't get any of that fancy Dawn of the Dead remix that you were talking about earlier.
I like the original score, the whole chaotic jazz and shit.
I would have loved to have seen. I would love to see the Goblin European version, but I don't think it would be as good as this. But of course, yeah, we'll talk about the music in.
But yeah,
5 minutes.
I thought the visual aesthetic and I thought the visual aesthetic versus the eerie melancholia music was really good. And then I'll save that because music is coming.
Yeah. The visuals worked so well with everything else to provide that atmosphere, right? And it's the atmosphere of isolation and loneliness, because this is from Martin's perspective.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I love about what we're doing. Like, Dark Half is kind of like the outlier, right? But we did Fade to Black. Next week, we're doing Henry. Week after, we're doing the Psycho franchise. We're talking about movies that are from the perspective of not good people, but that make us understand things about society and individuals through these films. Matt, what do you think about the style and structure of Martin? Not the 90s one with Gina and Martin and Shanae.
Oh yeah, Shanae, by the way. Oh yeah, amazing. I like when he played the old man too. Yeah, but anyway,
Romero, Fifth Floor.
Yeah, as far as this movie goes, like
Martin Lawrence's whole career is like Eddie Murphy. Pay attention to me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But he did a good Eddie Murphy impersonation for a while, so it's all right. I wanted to be Eddie Murphy too when I was 13 years old. So
I still want to be Eddie Murphy, man. So
yeah.
even though my girl wants to party all
I love
the
that
time.
song. I like that song.
I do too, man.
I like that song. Yeah.
Fucking Rick James produced that shit, man.
Produced by Rick James in Columbia.
Oh, nice.
If you know, you know. Cocaine's the hell of a real. But no, as far as this movie, like it's got like a gloomy tone to it. Like you feel isolated watching it, and I think Romero wanted that. And it's got some great tracking shots, like you're all talking, like he's walking through the town. I like when he meets his crazy uncle, and he follows his uncle home, and you see the town, and you can see like, well, and the first thing you see is like a crane, like from a junkyard, like taking a destroyed car and get ready to crush it, which is kind of like, I almost felt like it symbolized Martin's like, this is like crushing his soul. He has to be here. And it's like a soul crushing community. Look, I live in Kentucky. I live in Southeast Kentucky.
Oh,
and,
damn, dude. I'm sorry.
We have a lot in common with the steel place like that, because they had all the steel industry, we had all the coal industry. They kind of work hand in hand. They're almost like cousins. And so when one went down, the other one went down. So it's kind of a tough economical place to live, and as far as the economy goes. And as far as that fundamentals thing, yes, we have churches that still handle snakes here, Robbie. So, okay, there's a nice video of Henry Rollins at a snake handling church in Millsboro, Kentucky. That's 30 minutes from my house. And my dad knew the dude. He worked with him at a coal mine. He died, but like it's Henry Rollins goes to the church. They got shut down. But anyway, I digress.
Well, we're in Alabama. We have that too, man. Hell yeah.
You know exactly what I mean. You know what I'm talking about, speaking in tongues and all that.
Oh yeah.
Not that there's anything. If that's your thing, hey, I don't care. Just I don't infringe on people's religious belief. Okay, that's your thing.
Well, that's crazy.
I don't want to infringe on anybody's religious belief unless your religious belief is going to have you fucking stake your nephew in the fucking chest in the middle of the night for no fucking reason.
I used to think like tongue was like, because my uncle was a pastor, so my cousins, when I used to grow up on my dad's side, it was very religious on that side, but they used to speak in tongues, and I was like, I was like, you guys just I asked my cousin, are you guys just making that shit up? Like, not verbatim, but I was like, you guys, how do you know to speak in tongues? I used to be kind of jealous. Like, how come I can never speak in tongues? How come the Holy Ghost has never hit me? But yeah, that's tongue is
anyway.
But it causes a lot of people to go, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, I'm not trying to discount anybody's experience, because I know weird shit happens, but sometimes weird shit happens because you want it to happen. I don't know. Cliff, were you saying something?
I was gonna say it causes me to go, why aren't we focusing more on mental health in society? I'm pretty damn sure in the Bible, when they were like, you need to have somebody present when they're not speaking your tongue, was just about good manners and foreign policy. But no, we took it somewhere else. Okay. And like,
dude,
whatever.
Okay. I don't want to get too deep into
I
this.
know you don't want to get into it. I will say
I was just talking about, I was joining the ministry when I was like a teenager. I was set up. I was just talking to Christopher Priest about this shit. Right.
Oh my God. You and Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So
that's a
in the Bible, it does say what is the use of speaking in tongues if there are no interpretations?
Interpretation of it, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm
And the
just,
thing
I'm
about
just,
picking
I'm
up
just.
serpents, that's one verse in the Bible they misinterpret.
And I stand by good foreign policy. But that said, I will, and also I grew up Catholic, going to Catholic school to 6th grade, where my mind just could not take it anymore.
And let's go back to the one more thing about the style of this movie. I think what Romero's doing here, and I think he even said this in an interview one time. The monster is we're supposed to have. He's trying to trick us. We're supposed to have sympathy for the monster. Just like Frankenstein, you know what I mean? Who's the monster? Frankenstein, the Dr. Frankenstein, or is it the monster?
Or is it the crowd with the torches?
Right.
Mom,
I was gonna say, do we villainize
is
the monster when the people or the crowd have created
exactly.
the monster?
I mean, like,
you know?
His Colonel Sanders' cousin is a monster too.
Yeah, very much so.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I vote for Dr. Frankenstein, or in this case, cousin Colonel Sanders.
yeah, like that sort of person, like you think you're doing this, but you're doing it for the wrong, you know, like. But we'll get into like the themes of this movie. That goes more to the theme of it, though, really. But like, just like there are parts like George Romero effing with you. There's like parts where he's like, "Oh my God, is he going to get caught? Is Martin going to get caught attacking this lady?" And you almost thought, "Wait a minute, am I right for this motherfucker?"
Yeah,
You know
that's what's brilliant. That's what's brilliant about it, right?
The whole cop scene proves it. Like it's Grand Theft Auto cop shit that is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And like he gets away scot free. Like he's been doing it this whole time, and you're expecting him to get away with all of it.
Puts this situation on the gang, bro.
And we want him to get away with it though, because we do
Mm-hmm.
recognize his side, which is crazy. Like we'll get to the theme. This is what I love. I know we have a good movie night when we are trying to get into the theme from the fucking beginning of the movie.
I can't help it, man.
Right?
It's just like it's right there. It's right there in your face the whole time. Watch this movie up front. But the only thing else I'll say, and I'll shut up and I'll pass it to Brooks, is like you can say, well, it was only shot on 60 millimeter, but there is something beautiful about old films that are shot on 16 millimeter to me. I don't know what it is, but it's just, I think this movie had to be done on the 60 millimeter. I think it just, I don't know. I just think it makes it, I don't know. Just this way you see the shadows. You might not have had enough lights. I don't know. But like,
it adds a realness to it, bro.
It's got a
Like,
realness,
like what's the other great
Yeah.
16 millimeter horror film? Like I can think of Evil Dead, right? Like that's it's like it looks real. Like it has this
Real
visceral,
Yeah.
real raw quality to it, right? Like so good. And
Especially
as Kevin B says, a very Pittsburgh movie, and that's something that George Romero's movies do. Is they feel like this is a dude in this town getting whoever he can together to make a fucking movie for like as little as they can.
You
right?
know,
And I
scene
love that.
that it comes to mind real quick is the I love, it's just a minor scene, is the end scene where it's like the parade, you know. I remember you guys telling me like last time we reviewed this, like it was like it was just fucking, he saw a parade going on. I was like, fuck it, let's film there.
They're
I thought
filming
that's such a
and there's a
genius-
parade and they're like, fuck, walk in the parade. They're just going, man.
I
They
actually
have no
really love that
permits
scene.
and shit. Yeah, I love that shit, dude. I'm glad you mentioned that because but that scene means something because like Cliff was talking about, like so much of this movie is about him walking around, just looking at shit. It gives us, like Matt was saying, it makes us as the audience feel isolated, like
Yes.
Martin is, right? And like Matt and Cliff really hit that on the fucking head.
And
Brooks.
it's no mistake that he has him bleeding behind his cousin.
Yeah.
Like he's alone, like you're with me, but I don't want to be around you. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh no, 100%. Brooks, what about you, man? What do you think about style and structure?
I like it. You know, it does have that Romero feel. It's a little gritty, very 70s, like one of the most 70s movies, you know, like both in visuals and sound. And, you know, like it's interesting. Like this movie reminds me a lot of Fade to Black as well. And that it is very much a movie about a kind of guy who is like, going through some things and like, is considered like an inconvenient person in a way, because what's interesting about Martin though is that he's like, he seems so cool sometimes. Like I say, the less he talks, the more cool he seems. And it's like, that kind of his inability to communicate and his like frustration, like, where he just like freezes up and just like, has this stern expression on his face. It gives him the impression that he's actually cool. Like, he's almost like a Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western type.
A good term for that. I think a good thing. And I was watching Psycho 3 last night, so it made me think of this, but like Martin kind of feels the same way to me. There's an innocence to the character, right?
Yeah, like the more he talks, the more lines he delivers, like the more sad he seems, like, and the more pathetic. Like, I think like when he's at his most pathetic is when he's talking as the Count to the radio DJ guy. When he's like, explain, oh no, that's not how vampires work. He sounds like so sad. Like, he's trying to he's trying to get something out of this,
But I love that scene just because I feel like that's speaking to him. He can't confide in anybody. He's been, everybody views him as a weirdo. So this is like the depths he has to go to, like calling in a radio station to get his shit off because he's got.
And that's a total Art Bell coast to coast kind of thing, right? Like even when Christina's like, oh yeah, can you believe this show is on from like 6 to 6 every day, and like people call in. It's like craziest stories, and it's like. Y'all know me. I love my supernatural paranormal stuff. I love my ideas. I love diving into things. I love mystery. I love providing a sense of wonder and mystery to my life. But at least 90% of everybody who called in Art Bell is somebody like Martin, who's like lonely and needing somebody to talk to try to explain their life, even if it's through metaphor or misinterpretation.
And is it really sad at that point, that if that's the only option they've got to vent to is by calling some random radio station? I don't know. It speaks to society or us as people, is that people feel the need that this is where they have to go to vent because they've got no one else to relay this to.
I've never made this connection unless Fable said this when we were talking about it. But like Louis in Interview with the Vampire, same thing.
Yep.
Like he does that. He has to kind of like get shit off of his chest, man. As great as Louis' fucking chest looks in that movie. Oh my God. Talk about queer coded Cliff. Interview with the Vampire.
Oh wow!
Actually, that's not a queer coded film.
That's not coded. You read that book. This damn game.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Exactly.
Not afraid to gay. Of course, her son turned out to be gay.
Of course.
They were like, Anne Rice's son is gay. No shit.
No shit.
I was like, she's right. She's pregnant AF right in this shit. She's just channeling homosexuality through her, coursing through her blood. Of course, her kid's gay.
I just wish we could go back in time and have Cliff on our Interview with the Vampire show. That being said, Verno, if you ever want to do another Fang Fest, maybe we'll join in. And maybe you could do an Interview with the Vampire. That would be a great discussion. I would love that.
Someone do Fang Fest. I will be there. Vampires are so inherently gay. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true. In fact, they should put that on every Blu-ray copy that's released of any vampire film. Vampires are inherently gay. Cliff on Comics. Because you're right. And I love vampire films. And you know what? It took me a long time to realize what that fucking meant. Anyway, Steph.
You're like they're the only ones who enjoy sucking more than I do. That's how you get it.
Hey, they're snappy dresses too.
Link, what do you think about the style and structure? We're already longer than the movie, by the way, everybody. So there you go.
I
They should get us to do all the movie commentaries for every movie going forward. Like we should just
people would enjoy that more than they suspect. But no, yeah, the style I enjoy it. I've come to realize I really like. You guys were speaking on it earlier. There's something about 70s films, not all 70s films, but a good portion that there's like a real rawness to the movies.
French Connection. Think about that. Look
Yep.
at the comparison stylistically. Yeah, you're right.
And so yeah, I just what this film is going for. I think it excels on all fronts in terms of trying to get us in Martin's headspace and his feelings or his outlook on life. Structure wise, man, I can't. This is a revelation for me. Because I found this film extremely boring the first couple watches, but it works for me this time. Now that I get what it's going for, there's not like a wasted space. Like this is it's a descent of this dude's sickness or madness, and we watch it progress naturally. So it's like by the end, we're not like, it is like a what the fuck scene, but it's not. That doesn't make sense, it's all very fitting. It's a shocking ending, but it fits his trajectory. He's always a tragic character.
Yeah.
To be honest, I want to shout out the beginning scene and the ending scene real quick, just because the opening scene I think kind of establishes like Martin as a character, like I keep going into. I think he had a sickness that he was aware of himself, that he knew he couldn't combat himself. But he didn't necessarily want to compete or participate in it. Like, that's why with the whole, I just want you to go to sleep. Go to sleep. If he was a true dickhead like narcissist, he would have gotten off on people being suffering. But he didn't want his victims to suffer. He just.
Bro, that's another thing I was going to say when Brooks was talking. I meant to interrupt Brooks with this, but I'm going to interrupt you. But like the idea that, what's his name? Fucking Barracuda. What's his name? Cuda, right? Like the or whatever. I call him Barracuda. I keep thinking the heart sauce. Barracuda.
I like to think of him as cousin Colonel.
Cousin Colonel, in honor of our Kentucky brother Matt over there. Which, by the way, the best Kentucky Fried Chicken I've ever seen is the one in Georgia. Is that the one in Georgia that has the fucking giant fucking chicken out there and all that shit?
The original KFC is 30 minutes from my house.
That might be the one I'm talking about. I might pass it every time I go to Scarefest. You ever been to Scarefest, Matt?
No, but I want to go.
You should go. In fact, right now, you should go to scarefest.com after we're wrapped up. Apply for a media badge. If they give me a badge every year, and I'm a comic book channel and a little bit of a movie channel, like, they should give you, like, dude, you should go to Scarefest in Lexington. I'm there every year. It's the shit, dude.
Robbie, when you apply, you got to remember that when you apply, you have 25,000 subscribers. When Matt and I apply, they're like, bitch, stop working the sidewalk. That's usually the reply we get.
I'm saying that as somebody who's been denied by MegaCon 3 out of 4 times.
How dare that? How dare that?
I don't know how I got no Heroes Con last year. I mean, I don't know if I made a deal with somebody, like I didn't know, but
that's the secret. Don't spread this around too much, but the secret about Heroes Con is they're like, what? Approve. Like, they're just like, they don't give a shit, dude. Where the fuck were but the idea that Kuda Kinte, no, it's not Kuda Kinte, it's Barracuda. What's his fucking name?
Terracotta or some shit like that.
Kuda, man.
Uncle Kuda. Anyway, the fact that he believes, here's the thing, Kuda believes Martin's a vampire. Martin believes he's a vampire.
Yes.
Martin believes he's a vampire this entire movie. But look at the differences in how they believe. Isn't that cool? Kudalicious, man. Cliff. It's Kudalicious tonight, man. Anyway, but do you get what I'm saying, man? I'm not gonna elaborate too much on it right now, but like, seriously, like, 2 people in this movie believe Martin is a vampire, including Martin. Martin thinks the entire time he's a vampire.
I know.
But they both have like this different idea about it, right? Like, one's more grounded, one's more like, this is a problem I have. This is an inherited problem that I have, right? An addiction, like a something that I can't control because it's ingrained in me. Whereas Kuda believes the same thing, but believes it's of a supernatural purpose.
He read Bram Stoker's Dracula too many times.
But what's crazy is Kuda also starts the movie by saying, as ridiculous as it sounds, welcome, cousin Martin. I'm going to save you, and then I'm going to kill you. Like
Yep.
that's ridiculous, but he also accepts and understands, but is trying to do. He also understands that Martin has no choice. It's a Wolfman type thing, right? Through no fault of your own, this is happening to you, right? So it's a Wolfman kind of curse, generational type thing. All right. Anyway, we're running along. We've not even talked about the fucking music. It's an hour and 40 in. Okay. Let's talk about the music. Donald Rubinstein did the music, or Rubinstein, if you're not German. He was the brother of Richard Rubinstein, who was the producer of the film, but he worked with Romero on a lot of films once they made this collaboration. This music is awesome. It is beautifully tragic in its dissonance, its sadness, and its haunting quality. The music to me in this movie is when you listen to it on its own, and in particular when you listen to it with the movie, you have no help but to feel how sad this city, this family, this community, and this individual are. Jelani, what do you think about the music?
No notes. This music is great. I would have loved to hear it from Goblin. That's it. Because we got time, baby.
If Goblin did an original score.
If Goblin had done this, I'd be about this life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to hear that shit. But yeah, it's good. It's really good. It is melancholy. It is all those things. No notes, bruh. I'm moving on.
Well, yeah, I like that. Cliff, what do you think about the music?
Oh my God, I thought it was freaking great. It was like, it helped emotionally frame the movie, right? And like, again, it added to isolation, confusion, emotional detachment. It layered that into the film, and like it mirrored its surroundings. And I like how the score like takes a bump when he's fantasizing in the black and white fantasy, right? The movie becomes sweeping and melodic, and there's orchestral classic horror tones, and like every emotion is like heightened, and it's freaking great. Like he just such a freaking banger job. I think the music might have been my favorite thing about the movie.
Yeah,
outside of the sweeping visuals.
It is.
It's great when a really great collection like this comes out and it includes a CD of the soundtrack. That means something, right? This is like Romero's Fulci film to me a little bit. Like with like actually it's actually more thematically resonant and poignant than a Fulci film.
He absolutely knows when to have absence, right?
Yes.
Is very thoughtful about when there's the absence of sound, right? It's also well done, right? And like I just thought that was so incredibly like this was like really thought like it's so funny how many masterful things are in this movie that really is this film that like never lived up to what should have been more appreciated, I think. And like all these people could have been like, well, I didn't, like I just feel like they must have had some kind of they must have really felt invested in this film because there's so many things that you can appreciate about those investments in this film.
Absolutely. Matt, what do you think about the music in the film?
I think it's got this lonesome sound to it when it needs to be. It's got this heightened, frantic, like when he's in that house, he does the home invasion, and he's chasing them all around the house, and they're trying to call. It's got this the score's got like this frantic feel to it, like oh my God, what's going to happen, right? And because terrifying. Somebody's in your house, like you said earlier, some crazy guy just come in, you don't know, and injects you with some kind of drug. Although he probably
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care who finds out about us. I can't call the cops, asshole.
And then
that's such a good movie. That's such a good moment because it's like real, dude. It's like people trying to hide lies within lies, dude.
And like the other part though, it's like when Martin is delivering groceries for his cousin's grocery store to all these different houses in the neighborhoods, and he's got that lonesome like horn, horns playing, and it's real sad feeling like like it shows you how isolated Martin feels around. He's surrounded by all these people, but he's still just alone, and like that music it's haunting. It's great. I don't have any other note. I don't have no other notes. I just think this is like a good example of just because you're a low budget indie film with a budget of $100,000, you lied and said it was $250 just so you didn't think everybody else would try to do this. That's what I've heard somebody say. $100,000, and you still get this beautiful, thoughtful score with it. This guy's a genius, and no wonder Romero liked to work with him. It's just he's here right here.
I'll tell you this. Kevin keeps mentioning Night Riders because Rubenstein did the score for Night Riders as well. And I'll go ahead and make the official announcement that the first movie review on PCP Movie Night in May for Crew's Choice will be my pick for my birthday, which will be Night Riders. Another George A. Romero film. And yeah, Tom Savini's pretty fucking sexy in it. But Ed Harris.
His ex-wife is in it too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I guess Cliff needs to show up for that one.
I guess
It'll be cool.
All right.
Now, yes, it will work.
What about you, Brooks? What do you think about the music in the film?
I really like the music in this movie. Like, it does have that very 70s kind of TV drama almost sound to it a lot. Like especially early on, like it kind of has more woodwind type of a sound to it. Whereas later on, it gets more violins and strings. It kind of feels like
voice, right? He uses his voice really well too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
has a little bit of a folk song in it too, which is nice. It kind of like, this will make me sound like a real nerd, but it kind of puts me in the mind of like, how in RPGs you'll have like a town theme, or like, you're in the town and it's like this very upbeat kind of light type of music. But when you're in like a dungeon or at a boss fight or something, it's just like more frantic kind of music. That's kind of how this soundtrack feels to me. Like, towards the beginning, it's more like, it's more kind of like a melodrama, and then it kind of descends more into a little bit more horror towards the end.
Hell yeah. I love that. What about you, Link? What are you thinking?
I'm right there with you guys. I enjoyed the score quite well. I think it set I forget how Cliff put it earlier, but it set the emotional framework for the movie quite well. There was the scene at the end where he attacks like the homeless people, and like the cops are chasing him. There was like a cool little like what's the term? It's jazz, but it's just like chaotic jazz going on, and it reminded me of Cowboy Bebop. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, but it was indicative of the emotional stakes that we're
Timothée Chalamet probably doesn't like jazz either. He doesn't like opera. He doesn't like any of that shit. So right now we're trying to collect super chats. Every super chat tonight has a percentage.
There might be a
Providing
genius
in and out for
to that whole Timmy Chalamet method, because I bet you fucking opera and fucking ballet searches have been through the roof since he said this shit. So
a bunch of opera and ballet houses hosted free nights to get people in their communities to come and experience it for themselves and get to know what it, after the statement. They were like,
it's great. There might be probably not, because he's dating a Kardashian, but because he comes from a family of ballet dancers, even the Misty Copeland, she had a great performance last night at the Oscars. She's a historical ballet dancer, and she was one of the first people to wear his. She wore his Marty Supreme. Yeah, that's what I'm like. So,
Supreme. And then they hired her to show up to perform for Sinners.
I think there might have been some genius to him, like, because this is not the first time Timothée Chalamet has said this shit about ballet and opera singers, but it just caught on now. He said it a few times.
Sure. Did he say it a few times?
Yeah, he said it a few times.
Let's all be very honest about Timothée Chalamet right now, okay? His future is playing
Martin. Don't you understand? He is Martin. He's the Martin.
I'm just gonna say, like, don't take with what he says with a grain of salt, because this dude's future is playing a sandworm. Okay, so
Hey,
like,
Duke's gonna be awesome. I don't give a damn. Duke's gonna be awesome. I don't give a shit.
he's gonna be like an extra in fucking Beetlejuice all of a sudden, man. You just wait
Hey,
and
I
see.
like you tell me, but he did not deserve to be Michael B. Jordan.
Delaney,
No.
thinks we should have a podcast together. Just reviewing movies. Just yelling.
Just yelling and screaming.
One thing I know is that next year we're doing an Oscar stream. Next year we're doing an Oscar stream, man. We're doing an Oscar stream next year.
We should have done that shit anyway. But yes, okay.
Yeah, we should have been doing that this whole time.
That shit
To be
anyway.
honest with you, man.
No, you know what we should do? We should do like a 2025 Oscars, right? Just like to let's recap, you know?
Recap.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. No, my favorite bit, by the way, of the Oscars was when Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. were out there with the sparkly panties, and then Channing Tatum's like, "Yo, I'm gonna need those back, bro. I gotta work tonight."
I like the Leonardo DiCaprio, like Conan say, we need to get this man a new meme.
Yes, that face when you didn't sign up to do this.
Yeah, and Sigourney doing the get away from him, you bitch. That was great.
Then he made that pedophile joke, and then everybody in Hollywood was like,
Really hit too well, huh?
Just from home.
But you know what?
I remember.
Michael B. Jordan and Amy Madigan. Her and her husband Ed Harris are real ones. I'll tell you.
She's married to Ed Harris?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ed Harris, who's
Shout
in
out.
Night Riders. That's
Yeah,
right,
man.
that Ed Harris.
Night Riders, and Ed Harris is also in Creepshow. So
Yes.
And her-
Oh my God.
and
We're gonna have
her
so much
husband-
fun. We're gonna have so
They're
much
also the few people that had some scruples when they gave the award, Lifetime Achievement Award, to what's his name, who directed On the Waterfront, who ratted everybody out during the McCarthy era. They refused to stand up and clap for him, and I applaud those two for that.
whoever that guy was is the John Byrne of the movie industry. Hey, John Byrne, the guy that testified, nope, Marv Wolfman signed away the rights for Blade. Marvel's the greatest ever courts of the U.S. justice system.
Hey, who was the artist that when everybody was glad that Shooter got fired? He said, "Y'all can kiss my butt. Jim Shooter's the greatest man to ever live," and ruined his career.
I don't remember who specifically you're talking about, but a lot of people were trying to say that, but they couldn't.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Shooter was a goodie, I see.
Yeah, Jim Shooter. If you want to know about Jim Shooter, check out my conversations I've had with Christopher Priest. Over 4 hours of conversations with Christopher Priest here on the channel. Watch them. They're super cool.
Well,
All right.
Your most recent one was fantastic, by the way.
Thank you, Cliff. I saw your comment. I appreciate that. I really do. I agree. But thank you. These creators are what make those conversations so good, right? It's not me. It's not anybody else on the panel. It's them. They do such a great job. And Priest is one that dude's like a homie now. He's been sending me these messages. We've been going back and forth. It's been great. It's been
Awesome.
super awesome. I love my life. I love my fucking life. This is what we've been diving with. I would say we've been skirting around the theme tonight, but we've been already diving in to the theme of Martin. And what's beautiful to me is that Romero has an idea of what his theme is. John Amplis has an idea of what the theme is. Rubenstein has an idea of what the theme is, whether it's the composer or whether it's the producer. But there are so many themes prevalent and present in this movie. I want to know what's speaking to you. Jelani, Martin, what's it saying to you?
I guess be who you truly are. Be your true self. To not know self, be true. Figure out that, sometimes you might actually be a vampire. And not that that's a good thing, but make sure that you know that if you're going to be a vampire, hey, commit to the bit. Go for it. Blah, I want to bite your neck. Blah, blah. Bela Lugosi never says that, but I'm pretty sure he does. and just make sure that when you go full ham, you need to stay full ham and get what's coming to you.
Get those
in the end of it. Yep, get them comeuppance when you get them. So I mean, and Kuda, Colonel Cousin Sanders lives to his truth. He lives his absolute truth, and he knows that in his heart that this man is a vampire. I mean, he ain't wrong. He ain't not wrong. The Martin
justified
in killing him. He is justified in killing him. It's not for the reason he killed him, but he still killed him, and he stuck to his beliefs. He knew what he was to that own self be true. He lived his life as Van Helsing. He buried Martin in that yard like he's supposed to.
Planted some beautiful flowers.
Yeah, put some flowers over that shit. Threw a cross in there and buried it. Hey, life is what it is, man. You live. Listen, he knew what he had to deal with, and he dealt with it. And everyone in this movie basically lived their own life. Even Christina lived her life to be true. She was like, I cannot stay in this stupid town. I cannot stay with this stupid man that I'm living with. I think the creepy guy that's here he's kind of cool. I understand him in some points, but I need to get out regardless of what happens. And I do not need to look back. And I do not need to suffer any further than I have to, that I've already done already. And even the lady that came, she realizes that her life is miserable. It was always going to be miserable, and her life was going to go this route. Now, of course, suicide is a real thing, guys. It hurts families more than you will ever know. It hurts more than what you just did. So please, if you have those thoughts in your head, you need to talk to somebody first and make sure that you want to do that step. If you want to do that step, go to Switzerland. They do that shit for free and get it over with, okay? But you need to make sure with yourself that you don't need to be here. I'm serious. I've never talked about this stuff like this, but I've seen too many of my friends go, and there are too many people that are in my life that are gone because of this. Family, friends, a lot of things that have happened. If you're going to do it, you better make sure you know why you're doing it. But before you do it, you need to talk to somebody and see how much you've hurt somebody. It is the true thing. So to your own self be true. You must realize who you are and what you need to do about it. And that's what I think it is.
Oh yeah, man. Getting deep, man. Everybody, by the way, if you're ever thinking those thoughts, talk to someone.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah, please. We just
link in the chat, but just talk to someone, man.
We just lost a great actor, Robert Carradine, a few weeks ago. The same thing. So
absolutely. Cliff, what's this movie speaking to you?
Jelani, so I feel where you're coming from, brother.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Sorry to step on you, man. I didn't mean to. Cliff, what do you think?
You put 988 right there, perfect. And again, don't be afraid to use 988. Although it's not like the old days where you could just run to a phone booth and call it from the phone booth, call a number from a phone booth and be like, okay, I've had enough. But
right,
it's something. But what the movie, to me, it is exactly what I've said from the moment I joined. Whether it's intentionally queer coded or not, that's what's going on here, right? Like that's the movie. Like it's about loneliness, like separation, not feeling like you have your place, disassociation, hiding your stigmatized identity, living under religious condemnation. Thanks, Catholic school. Feeling socially isolated. Thanks, society and puberty. Feeling unnatural, right? Like I'm so happy just for the little blips of gayness that was on television now and again. Myth versus identity. That whole thing with the radio of like, no, it's not like that. Is because all that. No, gay is this, gay is that. You can't possibly feel that. Or it's a mental illness. like all of that, or no, it's nurture versus nature, and just all of that stuff. I also, oh my god, repressed sexuality, taboo desires, all my fun favorite shit. But I did feel like he drew a little. I mean, he obviously loved these older films. It felt like he drew a little something from Dracula's Daughter, and he drew a little something from Cat People. I feel like there was something from movies,
Good point. Yeah.
I'll see Cat People. I understand that.
Yeah, I felt like, like there was just certain moments where I was feeling that, but that's good. Like, I felt it was in such a positive way. Like, like I'm incorporating what I love into this, because it just screams passion project, but that's taking me off course. Just, I think myth versus identity and isolation and policing your identity, all of that. I feel like that's what Martin is about. It's like when you feel like you are nothing but the outsider, right? Then do you simply become the monster because there's just no other outlet for you, and you have no one to talk to, you have no one to express it with, you have no one to share with, or worse in real life, right? Where you do discover other people like you and they find a way to shun you. It's extremely painful, and this is why my therapist makes good money from me every 2 weeks.
That's funny, but however, like everything else you said wasn't funny. It was very real, very true, very poignant. Thank you so much, Cliff. Appreciate that. Matt, what do you think? What's this movie speaking to you?
It is obviously about like social isolation, but also I feel it's about like the younger generations trying to break these generational curses of these families. Like in a way, like he was told from the day he was born, oh, they always select one of you, our family's going to be cursed to be a vampire, or you're Nosferatu. You keep calling them Nosferatu, You tell somebody there's something long enough, they're going to do it. They're going to be it, right? You're going to be nothing but a junkie, you know what I mean, or this or that. Or like it's also about like sexual repression, and also it's about mental illness, and also it's kind of interesting the time with the Catholic Church, because the Catholicism meant like, oh no, you don't need to go to therapy, you don't need to do this, we don't believe in psychiatry, right?
Just go repent.
Just rub some dirt on it. That's what I was always told as a kid. Or like you just got to put yourself by your bootstraps or all this stuff, right?
Get that dirt
And when you're a drug addict, or maybe you're hiding your true self, like Cliff's talking about your sexuality, you don't feel like as a kid, also because this boy's like what Martin's supposed to be like 17 or 18, right? You don't feel like there's anywhere you can go, anybody you can talk to, right? Because I could understand that it'd be frightening, and and also it's about like, okay, you got like I said, it's a clash of like the old generation, new generation. What's his name? Kuda. He's in this old tradition from the old church. Like even the new priest played by Romero doesn't agree with his views. It's outdated, and it clashes with his cousin, his niece. It drives his niece away. And at the end of it, he's a sad, lonely old man. At the end of the day, he kills his cousin, drives his niece away, and he's going to die alone, a miserable old sot.
Mm-hmm.
Old codger,
In a dying town. Right?
In a dying town, yeah. And it's got all these things, like it's talking about American society, a society in general, society at the time. And kind of the way I feel about it right now, because I used to joke about, oh man, it's like the fall of the Roman Empire. But dude, I'm getting that feeling a lot here lately. But that's another story altogether. But as far as this movie, though, it's like, you had the city dying around this old man. He's a miserable old man. I mean, let's face it. It kind of reminds me of I had a grandpa kind of like that. Like he would not. It would pain him to give you a compliment. That's all I'm gonna say. He would pain him. Be like, you did a good job, grandson. But that's just the way it was. He was grown. He was a hard man. His mom died when he was 6 years old. He was working at a coal mine by the time he was like 13 years old. So, and like I think people's time But it's like it's a younger generation. We're trying to break away from that. And Martin wanted to help, but he couldn't get it. I guess he could get it. And I think in his own way, he might have been relieved at his death because he could not explain what was going on and what gave him this urge to go out and attack people and drink their blood. So,
yeah.
And also, there's a little bit of Dahmer in there. Dahmer, like his psychologist said that they had a pathologist interview him. He craved contact with other humans, but no, he just didn't have he's a sociopath. He didn't know how to get close to people. So all he knew how to do was drug people and turn them into human whatever. And it's a sick thing. And like, I feel sorry for Martin at the end of the day, but he was a bad person. It's kind of, you got to get away with that. But like, that doesn't mean that but maybe he wouldn't have been a bad person if society had not cast him out. And his own family told him he's a vampire. You're a vampire. That's all you're ever going to be. So,
yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying there, man.
Yeah.
100%, man. It's right there in the movie, right? Like Martin is told over and over throughout his life, whether he's 17 or whether he's 84 or whatever the hell it is. Like he honestly believes that now. And that's what's crazy is that he believes it without the superstition. And that's what's nuts to me about this movie. And you mentioned so many things, man. Thank you for sharing that story about your grandfather. I was going to make a joke and I was going to be like, oh, Matt's grandfather was Colonel Sanders, by the way, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not funny because that really fucking happens. And when this movie is saying something not just about the collapse of society or the family, but collapse of everything. Like when all you have is working in the coal mines, do you honestly have thought or time to think or dive into anything else on a different level than just like day to day? And that's a big problem. So many people are living day to day. I got to work. I got to get through this day. We do whatever it takes to make it through this day, whether we're sniffing fucking selfish lines, whether we're fucking taking shots of tequila, whether we're having sex with whoever or whenever we can. We all are trying to numb this idea of just the now. And when we're just so wrapped up in the chaos of the now and trying to desensitize ourselves to the now, when do we really think about the everything? And I think that's a big part.
It's kind of hard in today's times when the discrepancy between the 1% and the middle class gets much wider every year.
Yeah, the more people on this earth, it's like the wider that gap gets because like the ratios stay the same. It feels like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the haves and the have-nots. Oh my God, I wish we all had money to be able to devote time to our physical and mental wellness. Could you imagine a world like that? Oh my God, it would be like fucking Star Trek: The Next Generation. God damn it! The only people we would have to worry about would be like fucking robotic one collective consciousnesses out there, like the Borg. Exactly.
Been fucking me up lately. It's something that's kind of dawned on me is like the whole aspect of like people commuting to work, and it's like throughout life, oftentimes people spend more time or a good portion of time with their coworkers, people they're forced to be around with, and some people they truly want to be around with, like their family, friends. And that just doesn't sit right with me. Like when people's lives amount to that, where they've spent a good portion of time with people because it was like a situational setup. I don't know. There's a system change that's coming. I think we can all tell. But yeah, it's on its way.
Oh, we're ruined. It's we're putting plus. The billionaires are buying bunkers, bro. They made bunkers, and they're they're gonna wait it out, and they're just gonna ruin us. All we got to do is make sure that we watch They Live and know the truth.
The mass with the power of the people, bro. Like the power of the people make sure Michael Jordan wants last night. So
just remember to start rewatching Escape from New York and
that too.
Road Warrior Mad Max.
Yep, we're fighting for gas.
I got an electric wheelchair. I'm going to strap a harpoon to it, and I'm going to wear Metal
But
hockey
you know
match,
what?
some chaps.
I already
You
got
know
a
what though?
hockey mask.
There is the danger and the warning
Cliff's face.
of being self-righteous in your own sense of honor. And maybe Romero talks about it in a movie called Night Riders that we'll be talking about soon. So really excited to even dive into that one. But Brooks, we've been diving deep tonight, man. We've already unpacked so many things, but I know you got something, some gem, some nugget of truth to pull out of 1977's Martin. What you got?
Well, I think a big theme of this movie is like, I mentioned like the kind of mystique that and charisma that Martin has, like, where he seems kind of like a cool guy. And like that's kind of a mystique we give to like, vampires and all kinds of different kinds of monsters, and even like serial killers to an extent. This idea that they're like, these kind of like, mysterious, unknowable things, but like, the reality is like, Martin is, and when I say Martin's a loser, like, I don't mean Martin's a loser because he's like, socially awkward or anything like that. I think he's a loser because he gives in to his negative impulses and, uses it as an excuse. Like, he feels like, he allows other people to like, dictate his behaviors in a way, I feel like. And that's why I think he feels, he seems like a loser to me, because he hurts people, he kills people. And like, he can put on the act all he wants, I don't want to, well, if you don't want to, then, don't do it. That's kind of the thing, like.
I mean, but if we're delving into the whole addiction thing again, like you guys tell a crackhead not to do crack, like, is it that easy?
Yeah, true.
Of course.
But,
absolutely delicious.
I'll tell you this,
only
man.
harming themselves. Martin is harming others. I think that's kind of the difference. Like,
And
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, man.
Harm people.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I want to get through this. I'm a rebellious motherfucker, right? If somebody tells me not to do something, I will do that shit, even if it's like to the detriment of myself, just because of spite to the other person.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn to deal with that, right? It's a lifelong fucking thing. I have this ego inside of me that I've been battling with my entire fucking life, right?
Yeah,
I think we all have that, right? But like, I don't know. What were you saying, Matt? I got lost for a second. What were you saying
about the addiction thing? You are harming yourself, but when you're in active addiction, and look, I'm telling you this from experience. You're also hurting the ones that you love around you. You're
That's
stealing
exactly
them.
what I was going to say.
You're lowering the pets. My mom was like always worried about me. I clean my act up, but not everybody gets that lucky. And it's also this kind of thing is like, well, this movie is kind of like they used to tell me in NA meetings, you'd be like, they would be like, if you hang around a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. If you hang around people, if you hang around a guy that tells you you're a Nosferatu, you're going to keep drinking blood.
Yeah, there's not many people that can break the mold of their environment. Oftentimes, many times, the environment is indicative of how someone's blueprint, how their upbringing, their outlook is going to be.
Yeah,
so.
and what Matt said was exactly what I was trying to get to. So thank you, because you brought me right back on track. It's not selfish to make sure you're the best version of yourself, right? Because you being the best version of you is an influence, or not. It's not an influence, because that sounds so fucking pretentious. Like, I'm better so I'll be an influence to everybody around me. No. How about you and everybody around you realize we are all in the shit. We all need to lean on each other, support each other, and be better.
Inspire each other.
Right? Yeah. That's exactly it, dude. When you give in to those base desires like Martin did, you do hurt the rest of the world and the rest of society, because you're stealing something that could be given to this world, if that makes sense, right? And that's what I think I wanted to say. Brooks, anything else?
Yeah, I do sympathize with Martin, I understand, and that's kind of I think that's the scariest part of the serial killer is, the fact that they are a person at the end of the day. Like, we try to give them this the idea that they're a monster, but like the monster isn't as scary as the fact that, this is a regular person. Like, every serial killer movie, like you see, or like most of the good ones, like you see the serial killer just being a regular person. and like seeing like they are a killer, but at the same time they're also human. It's like
Humanity, yeah.
it's like we people is the black and white, the idea of everything, things being black and white. A serial killer is just a serial killer, but they're not, even though that is like like a big part of someone's personality. If they're a murderer, that is like a big aspect of your personality, but it isn't the whole thing. Like just like someone's like worst self isn't their entire self, but it's like with a serial killer, like the worst self is kind of more
Dominant
at the wheel, I guess, at times.
Well, and it asks you the question, what's the community's responsibility to the individual?
Yeah, it's like Martin, I think he could have been prevented. Like I think he could have like found another way to like channel. I think he could have, if given the right circumstances, he could have not been like a murderer.
I'm very curious to see what your thoughts are after hearing what you said, which I think is very perfectly awesome. I'm very curious what you think after next week. Mm-hmm. After next week's movie, I'm very curious because next week we're talking about another character study of a serial killer that may be more mean.
I'm not on that stream, but I'm gonna rewatch that one just because of the turnaround I had with fucking Martin. Who knows? It might be magic.
It might be. I'm not saying that Henry and Martin are like the same. I'm not saying that at all. Okay, but then like I cannot wait till we get into Psycho. Oh my god, I just watched Psycho 3 last night. That might be my best experience ever watching Psycho 3, and I've always thought Psycho 3 was fucking awesome, right?
Yep.
But man, is it way better than I thought.
The only thing with the Henry Wayne Lucas one is that's about a real serial killer. He was not.
It's about a real life. It's about a real life thing, yeah. But it still has the same repercussions of society to the individual, I would say, right? Like, we'll get to it more next week. Are you on the show next week, Matt? I don't remember right now.
No, I wish I was, but no.
Okay. We're going to have a great discussion because
I'm going to watch it though.
Yeah, well, thank you. I hope to see you in the chat. Because there are lines to draw in the sand, right? And Henry, I think, is going to be the line that pushes us, and that's what I like, and that's what I think cinema and art should do, is push these lines. Like, we can side with Eric from Fade to Black, we can understand Martin in this film, but we can also then go, oh fuck, take it to another level. Maybe I don't quite understand it. Maybe I don't quite accept it. Maybe I don't quite feel. Maybe I'm too uncomfortable with this, right? And that's what I'm really, really excited to talk about next week, man. I'm not expecting 5s across the board. I'm just expecting a really great conversation because that's what we've had throughout March Madness so far. Link, what's this movie speaking to you?
So you gentlemen have all made very, very good points about the themes. But I would beg the question, I think this movie kind of poses quite well, is that how much of like society's fault is it when people become these monsters? Like, we hear oftentimes of like, not to get too deep, but like shooters or like serial killers, there's like people like, yeah, there's always something off about him, but it's like people love to victimize or like dwell in the it's so sad, but it's like they're not proactive, or it's like if they see the signs, they how people only want to put in so much work. It's not really my responsibility, but when shit pops off and it's like, well, I always saw the signs, did you do anything to mitigate or help combat that? Or it's like, I don't know. So it's like, I feel like there is an aspect of society that creates these monsters that people love drama.
Look what Kuda's doing.
Kuda.
Is he trying to understand Martin, or is he just trying to condemn Martin this entire time? Save your soul under my conditions, right?
Yeah. But Kuda's also a product of his own environment.
That begs another question. People got to start thinking for themselves. I get that there's a blueprint and an upbringing, but at one point you got to start questioning things like, does that make sense to me? Even though I was brought up on this, does that fit my life? Actually believe
what happens is you're the different one, right?
Yeah.
I'm the different one for my family household, right? Everybody else is perfectly heterosexual and wanting their normal shit, and then I come along, you know, fucking singing along to Les Mis and shit, you know. And,
or like I'm the one in my family who doesn't feel the need to carry a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like it's just it's insane, man. But like, yeah, that's like because you're right. Kuda isn't like a product of his environment as well.
Like, could Kuda really be that upset at the outcome of Martin when he really didn't try to? This is his family.
Bro,
you know?
I'll tell you this though: if I was Kuda, if I was Kuda, I would have thought that dude would killed that chick in the fucking bathtub.
Yeah, but once again, like, and at one point before shit got too deep, like, did he try to help Martin before it got off to the deep end? And so I was like,
right,
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
He was helping him. He thought he was helping him. I'm gonna save you, and then I'm gonna kill you. Like he thought he was helping him. You know, you're the one with the curse because he's completely indoctrinated into it. And like you know, like you said, there's a family group blueprint. Sometimes that family group blueprint is fucking devastating.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like he's like, as long as you don't kill anybody in my community, it's like telling a drug addict, as long as you don't shoot up heroin in my house, we're cool.
Well, that's what it is. But we can go into other like aspects of that. Like I get what Cliff is saying because not to get too dramatic about it, but what Kuda is doing is basically saying like the ideas of like conversion therapy, right? Yeah. Like
I think he thought making him go to church was like trying to help him. Like the fact
they thought they were trying to help him, but all they did was hurt him. That's the idea.
And then it's like he's very pompous in that belief because it's like Kuda only believed his way was the correct way. If you don't believe what I'm in my way of trying to help you, then you're shit out of luck.
That's like, the whole bit with the priest, goodness, right? Where he's like, an old person doesn't want to hear this. Sorry, Cliff, what were you saying?
I'm sorry. I've never heard of such a thing. I'm sorry. My Catholic childhood is just flaring up. You know, it's flaring right up. You know, it's like this bitch Sue. You know, there was this freaking retreat, right? And like you know, one of them Catholic retreats, and they're making a big deal about it. And she's just like, why don't you go? Why don't you go? Why don't you go? Until finally one day I was like, why don't you stick it up your patootie, Sue? You know, and I sat, and you're lucky. I'm like, and you're lucky we're in the rectory, and I said patootie. You know, oh my God, you're so fresh. I can't believe the way your son talks to me. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, why did she want me so bad to go to this thing? Because they wanted their numbers to look good for people who attended from our parish. I'm like, you're fucking sick in the head.
It wasn't altruistic, yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't altruistic. Now, I was remembering a horrible tragedy from November of 1989 this morning, and one of the priests I grew up with, Father Bill, I love him, and a lot of people didn't like him because he talked too much, because he sounded like a freaking liberal. And God forbid that you're a Catholic priest who believes in Christ and Christ's teachings, and that you sound liberal. And 9 kids died because of a tornado, right? And people were asking him about God, and he's just like, that's not how it works. He goes, right now, you need God to help you get through this. You know, and it's like, that's where God is. He's like, we are all here of free will. This life is our life with our choices, and the things that happen here. And that my faith is that God is waiting for us, giving us a home after our life in this world is done. Anyhow, I'm not even doing what he said justice. It was just really beautiful because it was 1989 we're talking about, but it was a scarring event. It happened locally. I was one of 2 kids chosen from my school to go over to that school with a big old condolence card and everything. And I'll never forget the false wall that was set up that was turned into a memoriam for these kids and staff, when 18 who were severely injured, mind you. And then, you know, that school's been rebuilt and that's it. But like, it is just, it will always like for this community here, it will just always endure. But there was a man of faith who always had patience for people. You know, always try to guide you through the tough times with the tough questions, you know, and gave you a shoulder to cry on, even if you weren't listening to him. And that's really why I respect him. But of course, I feel like those people stand out from the crowd, right?
I mean, because, yeah, they're definitely a minority, rarity in life. But yeah. I think
And
that's because people aren't conscious or aware. Like people just need more aware. You know, pay more attention. And everyone's got shit going on, but
we try, but we have to battle. We have to battle generations of stigma.
Well,
You know?
what here's something that Martin even says in the fucking movie. It's not like that. It's not like the movies, Art Bell. You can't control what other people do.
Yeah.
But you can influence.
And maybe a part of
like
this movie, well, I get what we're talking about, but maybe from Martin's perspective, Martin feels a lack of control in his life. Right? And he can't control other people's responses. And what does that lead to? It leads to shooting someone fucking up so that you can like have your way with them and then drink their blood and kill them. And like, that's ridiculous. But like,
you just remind
that's
me
a part of his idea though, right? Like, I think that's a crazy thing because it goes to the other aspect. When we're thinking of CUDA, when we're thinking of society, when we're thinking of family, when we're thinking of a community or a religion, a church or whatever, you can't control people, man. And how many of these institutions are centered around the idea of control? And you can't do that because when you try to control people, it either A, backfires, or B, backfires to that person. And all of a sudden, Martin, let's take that vampirism is heroin addiction. And it's something that his mother had a heroin addicted problem. His grandfather did or whatever. Now his second grade cousin or whatever is telling him, you're the piece of shit because your heroin addiction that you've inherited from your family, from father to mother to father to daughter to father to mother or whatever the hell, right? Like now that's you. And then all of a sudden someone's like, fuck, I have no fucking choice. Like it's biblical, this movie, man. And in all the right and wrong ways, if that makes sense. I don't know.
It does.
No, I can dig that. But real quick about Martin, I feel like he was monster. Like we don't really get his backstory. You know, we pick up on the train, we get bits and pieces. We don't really know where he comes from though. But
yeah, what we get of his backstory, we don't know if it's in his head or if it's real.
He's
right?
He's an unreliable narrator. But him with the whole, he's been monsterized, bro, until he's a vampire, the Nosferatu, this and that. But he still wants, like, you know, we see moments where he wants connection. And it's like him, even though it's fucked up, him doing the whole attack, drugging people, that's his way of getting that connection that he's lacking in life.
And when he finally gets that connection, he can't recognize that it's a false connection because the person that he's connected with is so despondent in her own situation. He doesn't even see it, man. Right? And that's to me the biggest tragedy. There is a moment of connection, but because it's a connection through trauma, through just trauma and escapism. It's not like a true connection, if that makes sense. Right?
Oh man, you reminded me. So that last scene where he's like doing the carnival and shit, like I felt like that was like a moment. I mean, you could read into it any way you want. There's really no definitive answer, but it's like for me, I felt like he was finally coming to a moment of like acceptance and like beating his addiction.
Let me join the parade. Let me be seen.
Let me be part. Yeah. And then fucking the next scene is him getting fucking.
Fuck, that goes in with Cliff's queer coding shit, dude. That's so true. I did.
And now we officially came full circle.
Yes, we have. I don't know how to top this because we've all really topped on this. So let me just kind of bring it all together, I guess. To me, this movie is about decay, right? It's about a lot of things. But tonight, the last time I watched this movie, which was a few days ago, this movie's about decay of society, right? Like the town being more and more decrepit and abandoned, right? But all of that to me is a visual cue on the decay of society, the decay of the community, of the family. Look at the falling apart of the family. There is no community here, right? Like, even when Martin is like part of the grocery store and all those women start like, Kuda, you need to get someone to help you here, right? We're seeing the decay of community, family, and ultimately the individual, right? And I love how that ties into the wife and the affair, because it's like These individuals, Santini, Mrs. Santini, and Martin, they're not seeing. This is so crazy to me. What Santini, that's the woman, and then we have Martin. They are wrapped up in their own loneliness and isolation and desire. They're so solid need, the most human need to be touched, to be seen, to be wanted, to be loved. They're so wrapped up in that they don't see the other partner's problems. How many relationships in our lives do we see amongst our friends that are like this? You two are the wrong fucking people for each other because you're so wrapped up in your own shit and you're trauma bonded and you don't see the other person's trauma because it's all about yours. Right?
It is some of those myself.
Romero said this. Me too. Too many. Romero said this. To me, this movie is about we create the monsters in our fiction and then we succumb to them. He's saying that we create the idea of the vampire or the werewolf or hell, the zombie or the witch. We create these ideas to separate the monster from ourselves into something outside of it. The problem is that once we separate the monster from ourselves, we no longer realize that the monster is ourselves, and we do succumb to it. And when we separate that monster and make something other the evil, we no longer understand the other or the evil inside of us, and we lose our nuance. We lose our empathy to the other. And we think that something that is so within us is other. We deny it and it takes us over. And I think that's what this movie is about. And I think that goes, and it's what's so profound about this movie is Martin didn't tell himself this until he was told this by his family, by society. You're weird. We don't like you. Look at Fade to Black last week. You're weird. We don't like you. I don't give a fuck that you know more about Casablanca than me. You're a fucking nerd. You're a dipshit. It causes somebody to live isolated. And when you live in isolation, you live within fantasy. And the sad thing is, all of us live in isolation more than we should. And we all live in fantasy more than we should. And that's what this movie is about to me. Fantasy versus reality in all aspects, not just you individually, but those around you looking at you. And it's sad and it's tragic. And I cannot believe that we've gone 30 minutes longer than 7 Jurassic Park movies tonight on one movie. This is awesome. I'm expecting some high scores then, because I feel like this is a movie worth discussing, means it's a movie worth rating. Time to rate the film. You out there in the chat, Martin, out of 5 you digs, what would you rate this film? Jelani, kick us off.
It's a good film. It's a very good indie film. It tells a story of mental illness and how people perceive that mental illness in the world on top of a myth that has been propagated for hundreds of years of vampirism and what it entails. And I'm impressed by it. I draw comparisons to a movie I recently watched, which I just talked about a second ago, was Begonia. And Begonia was highly overlooked at the Oscars. I think it really
that's the Emma Stone, Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah,
movie,
it's
right?
yes, it's Emma Stone. It's based.
They just hired anybody with Stone in their name. Is that what happened there?
Pretty much.
Just
Pretty much Stones.
not Eisenberg, but evil Matt Damon. I forget his name. Was in it?
Yeah. Jesse Plemons.
Yes, Jesse Plemons.
And he's the whole premise of the story is, and real quick, is Jesse Plemons is this crazy conspiracy theorist who basically kidnaps Emma Stone. She's in charge of this corporate pharmaceutical company who screwed up his mom during a drug trial, and she's in a coma, and he's mad about it, but he has conspiracized in his head that she is an alien, and he wants to prove that she is an alien by doing a lot of evil and sick shit on top of it to prove it. And in the movie, like I said, he's telling her she's an alien, and you know she's telling him constantly, "I'm not an alien. I'm not an alien. I'm not what you think I am. I'm really not." And I draw a comparison to that movie to this. I'm not spoiling that movie because that movie is fucking awesome.
The way you just described this movie, I'm very surprised it got nominated for an Academy Award in 2025. I mean, honestly, I'm like, what? I need to watch this, man.
Absolutely wild film. I watched it. And it's based on a South Korean movie called Save the Green Planet, which is pretty much the same premise, but as and somehow, even though they're divergent movies, they have the same kind of ending of what it is. And when you watch the ending of the movie and you're like, oh shit, that's what it is, you know. And I draw a comparison to Martin to these movies, to both of them, but they're two completely different films, which is wild to me. But it is so impressive that Romero is such a forward thinker. That man was ahead of his time.
Always was, right? Always was, right?
Always. The man had the nail on the head of the pulse of society.
When we covered all the Dead movies, we weren't like super kind to Diary of the Dead or Survival of the Dead, but look at how prophetic those movies
It makes total sense how those movies played out.
Yep.
Because it's the rich and it's the high ups and the high downs. Survival is even,
and then it's like social media with Diary of the Dead, right? Like, yeah, dude,
it's all of those things.
Romero he's a futurist thematically, I would say.
Yeah, he really was. So based on all these things, based on all the things I am talking about, I'm still going to give it a 4. I think it is still impressive. I still think it is a great movie. I've watched it twice. I will watch it a third time. I know for a fact that it is one of those films that just will grab you because of how odd it is and how ironic it is. It's like I said, I keep bringing up the irony of this film, and especially the ending of it and how abrupt it is and how it makes sense that's exactly how it was supposed to end. Like when I saw it the first time, I kind of guessed how the end would turn out. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, damn, I was right. So I suggest if you haven't watched this film, you should. It is a little slow in parts. It does have its meanings. It does have a little weird structure from time to time. The black and white, though, is impressive. I really like those scenes. And I think that's just him, like, fantasizing what has happened. And it's very impressive. Definitely check it out if you haven't.
So you don't believe he's a vampire then?
No, I never did. I thought he was a serial killer the whole time. I thought it
doesn't matter, though. That's the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's really a vampire, because him and Kuda both believe that, and those beliefs lead to the outcomes of every decision and action in the movie. It doesn't matter if you are. What matters is what you and other people believe.
Right, and he believes he is, and Kuda believes he is. And
that's the point too, is like Martin doesn't think he's not a vampire. He just doesn't think it's a magical thing.
Yeah, it's not. And
Garlic doesn't do anything.
The sunlight doesn't burn his skin. He walks in the sunlight freely. Garlic doesn't hurt him.
By the way, this motherfucker buys a fucking fog machine and like a costume, and it's like fucking with his uncle. That's that might be one of the coolest things. That's something I would do if someone thought I was a vampire. I would be like, oh, I would play it out. Dude, you said a lot of great things for you digs for the movie to you. Or for you, from you, and for me, that's very high, very respectable, very understanding of this film. 5 you digs for me to you for your understanding of what this movie is saying on a very subtextual level. And that's why we are the pop culture philosophers and can go 3 fucking hours on Martin. Jesus fucking Christ. I think that we did an hour and a half on Dylan and like 45 minutes of that was bullshit. And then we did an hour on Verno. So guess what?
We had some revelations on this review. You know?
Yeah. We got set up for this. We got set up for tonight, honestly. We're doing third man syndrome tonight. Before you digs from Jelani, what about you, Cliff? And I feel like you had something else to say. So what do you think? What do you rate the film? Your overall thoughts?
The movie is bleak. It's thought-provoking. It's a reimagining of a vampire story. It's disturbingly human because, of course, he is doing these terrible things, and yet we are rooting for him, right? We've all talked about how he becomes a sympathetic character to us because we are brought in to the sadness narrative right from the beginning, right? And then, of course, like I've said everything about the queer codedness, policing your identity, hidden identity, social isolation, your desire and violence connection because repressed sexuality, your taboo desires, your fear of intimacy, which we discussed. Were you born this way? Is it a mental illness? Are you shaped by the stories that you are told, which of course is nurture versus nature in this? And a truly tragic ending, right? So with all of that, we get this slow, uncomfortable, and psychologically depth, unique movie. And of course, I have nothing but nice things to say about the cinematography and the music. But I'm not going to make this long-winded. I am going to give it 4 you digs.
All right. 4 you digs out of 5. You out there in the chat, what do you think? We don't see any ratings out there in the chat right now. All we see is Comic Toby just talking nonsense. But 4 and 4. What about you, Matt? What are you thinking?
Well, when I look at like a movie like this, it's an indie film, even though we know George Romero is a big name, but at the time he wasn't that big of a name. He was just known for Night of the Living Dead, which he actually didn't even get the rights to, which is just a tragedy. But so what I'm saying is I'm gonna grade it on a curve because I can't imagine what he could have done if he'd had like a Hollywood studio behind him. Although you know what, it's probably good he didn't because some of these actors might not have been in it. But I'm just saying
it would take away from the authenticity.
I'm gonna give it a 5. I'm sorry. I was skeptical going into this movie, Robbie. I was like, okay, it's this and that, and I watched the first time.
I kind of twisted your arm into it last week after the show. I was like, come on, do Martin with this
answer, and you wouldn't let me back out of it. And I'm glad you didn't. And the first time I watched it, I'm like, well, I don't know about this movie, right? I told one of my friends, I told my friend Jeff, I was like, man, this movie's kind of twisted. I don't know. But then I watched it again this morning, and then I watched it again. I watched halfway through before we went live.
You tell me you pulled a Verno and a half, man. That's what he did, dude.
Yeah, well, I try to do my homework when I tell somebody I'm going to do something, So, yeah, I tried to do my research on this one, and because especially since I hadn't seen it before, like Devil's Rejects, I'm going to review that Wednesday. We'll get to that later, but I've seen it so many times I can watch it again, and it'll just refresh everything I knew about it. But with this one, yeah, I give it a 5. I'm not going to keep rambling on, but it's a 5.
Hell yeah, a perfect score from Matt. Matt, Cliff, let me tell you something. After tonight, I already knew that Jelani, Brooks, and Steph were like of like minds of me when I talked about movies. Y'all been on a few shows now. Now I know 100%. Y'all are fucking down. PCP crew, excitable for both of y'all, officially. By the way, Fable can't do that. I can. So you're now part of the excitable PCP crew. So there you go.
Being inducted.
As y'all talk about movies the way we like to talk about movies, you understand movies the way we like to talk about movies. And I'm not just talking about us at the panel. I'm talking about us in the chat. This is my favorite shit to do. Seriously. And it's a tragedy. Out of all of the movies we've ever covered, The one that's almost at 1 million views is Cyborg with
Jeez.
Van Damme. Like, out of everything we've ever covered, let's get Martin to 1 million views, y'all. Come on. Pump this one up. Let's go.
I was not on that
Like,
one.
share, subscribe, join as a member, all that jazz, all that and more. Brooks, first time watch for you. Did you watch it 2.5 times like Matt? I don't know. I don't care. What do you think about the movie? What would you rate it?
Yeah, like, you know, I do love, you know, like I've said before, I love March Madness. Like the kind of movies that come out of March Madness, I think are usually at least pretty interesting. And Martin's no exception. Like, you know, I really do like it. It does feel a bit slow to me. Like, you know, it is very much kind of a melodrama in a lot of ways. But, you know, I do like, you know, the messages in it. Like, you know, it is a very, like, you know, Romero kind of message about humanity. So yeah, I give this one a 4 as well. Like, you know, it's a really good one, I think. Not one of the best, but certainly worth watching, I think.
Damn. I really thought tonight might be a Funhouse situation. And I'm just so glad.
No, bro, this is way better than Funhouse.
By the way, I want to mention that Funhouse was 5 years ago. I just did my research today. And maybe Funhouse is coming up soon again. I'm just saying, maybe it's time to you know, Steph had a long road to this movie and his appreciation of it. So I'm very excited to hear what Link has to tell us about his rating of this film. We got a 4, we got a 4, we got a 5, and another 4 high ratings. What about you, Link?
So, upon this rewatch, I did not enjoy this movie as much as I was expecting. I enjoyed it more. So, with that being said, I'm right there with you guys. I'll give it a 4. I don't know what my last scores were, but I know I wasn't too keen on it. But I saw the light with this viewing, and I'm glad I did. I had a pretty solid 4. And definitely one of Romero's films that people need to see if they've not seen it yet.
I know that I have said on this very show in the past that I've never been more proud of the panel. But honestly, fuck everything I've ever said. I've never been more proud of a panel than tonight. We have dived into this movie that most people have never heard of, let alone seen, right? Let alone can appreciate. And even if, let me tell you something, I got some early 20-year-olds that work for me at the comic shop. If I let them watch this movie, you know what they would tell me? I'm old. I like boring, stupid fucking films that are like non-fucking cool. Like I'm anti-woke or some shit like that. And I'm just like,
oh, I don't think this movie is anti-woke. I think
they tell me I am, which is crazy. I'm all about like, fuck whoever you want to fuck, do whatever drug you want to do, just don't fucking kill people. That's why Martin is an interesting conversation, because we're talking about those nuances of freedom, but we're also talking about truly heinous behavior. Does it matter if Martin is a vampire or if he's not? It does matter to some people, but that's the thing. Do we judge Martin less harshly if he is a vampire? Or let's just take the vampirism to heroin addiction, alcoholism, sex addiction, like any kind of like addiction to things like that, where you put something over everybody else in your own, including yourself, right? Like, no, there should be no difference. Like I've watched some videos where they were like, well, if Martin is a vampire, I think it's okay. But if he's not, like, this movie's just too much. Like, then he's really like not cool. What are you talking about? Even if he is a vampire, it's not cool. Like, y'all, I think Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt are so sexy in Interview with the Vampire. They are both terrible fucking people in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we can be attracted to the evil, because like George A. Romero said, when we take the evil and put it out of ourselves and we act righteous, self-righteous about it, like Kuta does in this movie, right? Kuta, he like acts self-righteous from the beginning, dressed all in white. I am the authority. I am Edward Van Sloan. I am Van Helsing. Like, that's the bullshit. I love this conversation. I love all of you. I love PCP Movie Night. I love the chat. I'm giving it 5. I think I've given it a 5 every time I've reviewed it. I don't think it's the best Romero film, but it is one of the best. And I think Romero has 5 or more 5-dick movies, in my opinion. And this is one of them. So a 5 from me and a 5 from Matt and a 4 from everybody else. That's a PCP average of 4.469, dudes. And I think that's appropriate. Hell yeah. I'm so fucking happy. I promise you guys, I'm going to make you watch Funhouse again, and you're really going to appreciate it. You'll notice the music this time. I'll have backup. I'll have Matt there with me. Matt, do you like the Funhouse? Do you know what I'm talking about? The Toby Hooper film?
Oh, trust me, bro. It's hot garbage.
Cliff, have you seen the Funhouse?
I have not.
Well,
please skip it.
Delaney, something you need to know about me. One of my favorite films is Samurai Cop, so I like hot garbage. So
That's fine. That's fine, bro.
I think the Funhouse is deeper than. I mean, I don't want to.
How do you get a mask?
I think the Funhouse is deeper than Delaney and Brooks said it was, and it's a bit. We did it in 2021 for Horror Fest, and I've been hurt ever since. And I'm trying to get over this. I'm trying not to be Martin. All right, we've already alluded to this. But next week, we're continuing March Madness here with Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, which is exactly like Fade to Black and Martin, but maybe not so understanding of the main character.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk about this movie. I think it's a brilliant, brilliant film because of the unsettling and uncomfortable nature of this film. Cliff, you're on there next week. Have you seen this film before?
No.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Good luck.
Hey, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. Getting Ready Lucas is the one that adopted Matt Walsh's son, right? Is that the one?
Yes.
Is that the same guy? Yeah.
It's base. There's a lot of fiction to it, just like with Psycho or shit like that. Like Henry is based on the convicted killer of Michael Walsh's son, the guy from American Most Wanted. Yeah, but it's a fictionalized version of it. But it does not. It does not try to make you feel bad for the main character, but at the same time, it tries to explain it. I don't know. I don't want to get into it until next week. But next week, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Man, I'm really, really excited for that. And then we got Devil's Rejects over at Mass Channel on Wednesday. Before that, Misery over at Fables Channel, one collection down. Oh, my goodness, man. We're halfway through March Madness right now. Lots of great shows coming up. Look at that lineup right there. Fresh and so clean. Speaking of fresh and clean, Jelani, what do you think? Nope, that's not what I was supposed to lead into. I was going to go, Jelani, what you got coming up? Appreciate you being here. Final thoughts.
Well, what I think is Funhouse is trash and we should never do it again.
Wait, if I did it again, would you show up? Would you be there? Would you do it?
I haven't thought about it. Don't make me put.
What if you watched it with me and Brooks? What if a bottle of tequila, some good weed, we watch Funhouse together because we've never done that.
Might see through a new lens.
We haven't. I mean, I'll take you up on that offer, but I will be shitting on that movie the entire time we watch it because it is trash, and it's the burial ground of pop culture philosophers. I will say.
Oh no! No,
no,
because you know what? Pop culture philosophers still exist. So don't say shit like that, bro. Okay, like we're still doing PCP movie night. Jesus Christ, man!
Damn.
Don't call it the. By the way, Burial Ground is not the worst movie I've ever seen. That would be Bloodsucking Freaks. But
sure.
You know what though? One day we're gonna do fucking Burial Ground. You just wait and see. When I run out of ideas.
But I'm glad to be here. You know, always glad to talk about fun, exciting movies I've never seen before, once and forgot about. So it is awesome. Thank you guys for this, and of course, I was going to mention that I wasn't getting there. that it's all about family. And
Why did you put family on this, by the way? That's what I wanted to ask you.
This drag store. And drag store is
Fast and Furious.
They don't drag race in Fast and Furious, man. They don't drag race.
They're family.
What about
But
drifting?
drag racing is different.
No, it's not. It's still racing, and racing's all about family.
That's right. I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Who's giving me my vintage drag store back? By the
So
way,
check out our video for the drag store Motu Origins figure is a horde figure. We go into depth of how cool it is. We even got creative criticism on this one, which I haven't heard in a long time. Fuck your creative criticism, and Funhouse sucks. We're gonna keep doing videos the way we want to do them. Screw you guys. Screw you guys. I love you guys, but screw you guys. We're gonna do our format until it works.
all right. Jelani just went from a Martin to a Henry
Fuck yeah.
within 3 seconds. Anyway, Cliff, thank you so much. And by the way, Cliff, anytime you're on the show, send me thumbnails for anything you want to promote.
Oh my
Okay.
God, what a lovely invitation. Thank you.
So there's always been an invitation. I'm sorry. What you got coming up, man? Where are you going to be? You're all over the place, Cliff.
I am all over the place, but most importantly, I did a fabulous 1 hour and 50-minute interview with Tom King, and it is on my channel now. Go and learn how he did not mean to kill Alfred and how he blames Dan Didio. I love how he blamed Dan Didio like 3 times in the video. All right. Go learn his feelings on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Go listen to the tiny threads of leftover spaghetti he gave us about Lantern, Supergirl, and Mr. Miracle.
Dude, that's so awesome. I'm excited to watch that, man. I didn't even know you had Tom King on, man. That's like I've said a lot of like vibrant and floral things about Tom King on my channel, and I've said a lot of like heinous and evil things about Tom King on my channel. And I met him in person, and after having a chat with him, and then I went to his panel, and then I went back to his table, and he looks at me and he goes, "So do you still hate me?" And I was like, I get the sense that you've watched my channel. No, Tom King's a good dude. He wears his influences on his sleeves.
He and I share a birthday.
Yeah. You share a birthday with Tom King?
July 15th, yeah.
July 15th, hell yeah. I like Tom King. How cool was he? I've never had him on the channel. How cool was he?
He was really cool, and I was so happy with how he was down with my energy, because not everyone is. But he was down with my energy, which made me really happy. I got to release my Keith Williams video. Keith was also down with my energy, and now my relationship with Keith Williams is growing to the point of your relationship with Christopher Priest. It is slowly happening, but I'm feeling really good about it.
Nice.
But that was awesome. Also, this Sunday, I met a TikTok comic collector, Tom the Pinoy Wonder, and I met him at KingCon in person, and that was lovely. So I had him on the show Sunday. So yeah, if you want to just hear about other people collecting and how they were influenced on promoting stuff on the internet or promoting their love of comics on the internet, that's a good interview just because he chose TikTok as his platform. And he was influenced by somebody who's very active on Instagram. And so I like bridging parts of the community. And this week, I'm going to be on Carlos Collects on Wednesday night. And then Carlos is going to be my guest on Sunday for Comics and Coffee. So that's what I have in the near future. I'm trying to run a Catwoman Black Cat freaking giveaway, and 2 slabs that are the main events are still lost in the mail. So I'm having a great time with that.
Oh, no.
That's it for me. Otherwise, find me here at PCP Movie Night next week, and always at the Council of Comics Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. So there.
Mondays? What time you do it on Mondays?
At 8 o'clock. I actually, if you go back and watch, you see them. I'm like, I gotta go. I'm gonna do PCP Movie Night. Bye.
Nice. Well, I appreciate that, Cliff. I fucking love you, man. That's awesome. That's a lot of stuff, man. Yeah, send me thumbnails anytime. Next week, send me your thumbnails. Anything. I'll throw them up. You'll see, try to send them in an order if you want to, because you'll see what happens with me and Matt coming up. I'll throw the wrong thumbnail up or something like that. But also, like, no lie. Hey, tell Tom King I want to have him on his channel. So,
Well,
I'd like to have a good conversation. Tell him I'm a big fan.
No,
and I don't want to talk about Wonder Woman.
It goes. I actually talked about Wonder Woman, but it goes through his assistant, and she was lovely, and so we have an opportunity possibly to talk to him after Supergirl releases.
Well, that'd be amazing.
Tell her
that
I would be interested in having a conversation with Mr. King as well.
Give him the deets.
It doesn't work that way. I will. I'll try to get all the information.
All right,
you.
Cliff. I know how this shit fucking works.
Right,
okay,
but it took me.
And so I know.
Months. It took me 8 months, Rockin' Robbie. 8 months, and I don't have 25,000 followers. Okay, I had to beg this woman.
All right. I see how it is. That's fine. Cliff, you're out of the crew. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I love you, bro. I really fucking do. I knew once we had that conversation on your channel, I was on your like coffee. Was it coffee and comics? Is that what it is?
Yes.
I don't think I drank coffee that day, but no. I had a lot of fun. And I knew that like Cliff's gonna fit in just perfectly.
I appreciate that.
Fucking 3 hours tonight. We didn't even do show and tell, man. This is like an old school PCP movie night, man.
Yo.
Holy shit, dude.
There was a show and tell segment?
There used to be like 3 years ago before we were like, this is way too long. We used to do these motherfuckers on Friday night. It started during COVID, right? And we were like, yeah, during COVID, we got Friday night free. And then all of a sudden we were like, dude, none of us had Friday night free.
Weekends are valuable.
Matt, what you got coming up, man? I know you got a lot. Let's run through it, man.
Well, I just want to tell Cliff, I blame Dan Didio for a lot. What's his name? I blame him for a lot of things. But anyway,
everybody blames him. He's the scapegoat of the last fucking 20 years of DC.
He deserves it.
You know what? Fuck Tom King, Dan Didio. Let's have a chat. I'm more on your side.
Ooh.
There you go.
All right, you do that, and then you can ask him why every freaking gay and character of color was on the chopping block for freaking Heroes in Crisis. Let's have that talk, Dan. Or I know it. Let's talk about why no one can be married, Dan. Let's talk.
Hold on. What if Dan would trade all of that just to kill Dick Grayson? So there you go. Great white boy with a nice ass. There you go, man.
You want the number one ass in comics and you want to kill him? He's an ass.
Clearly he's an ass man, and he's jealous that his ass isn't on point, like Dick says.
He's trying to take out the competition.
Exactly.
Bruce should be Gotham's ass.
Maybe he's an internalized homophobic, bisexual, angry person, because that's the vibe I get from him sometimes. But
all right, if I have Dan on the chat, Cliff, please just subdue yourself in the chat.
No, I'm gonna come in hot. I'm be like, why do you hate gay people, Dan? Let's go.
Two Gun says, I missed back chat. Half of tonight's show has been back chat, motherfucker. What are you talking about? Matt, what you got coming up? Jesus Christ.
All right, sorry.
You've already missed it, Baroom. I'm sorry. You've already missed it.
It's my fault. All right. I got me and my buddy Big Jeff will be reviewing G.I. Joe issue 14, Destro Strikes. Well, that's the wrong one, but it's okay.
Oh, that'll work.
Hold on. Is it? Oh, no. Hold on.
There we go. This is the first full appearance of Destro. He appeared in Shadows in issue 13 and 12, but this is his first full appearance. And we see if Snake Eyes gets out of the trouble he's been in. We thought he was dead, but he's not. So that'll probably drop tomorrow or Wednesday. That's a pre-recorded video. And then we got my comic conversation show will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I'll be interviewing Randy from Swarm of Comics. The reason I chose Eddie, if you're wondering, is because he's in a band. I think it's like a heavy metal band. They're actually not bad. But Randy from Swarm of Comics, I think he's Canadian.
They're actually not bad. I love that.
I love Swarm of Comics. I'm so happy. That's so great. Randy's great.
And very gracious guy. So he'll be there. And then the Comic Lounge is on. We already did. Yeah, that'll be Thursday. We do it. It's just a little hangout show. The first hour is called the Comic Classified Ads. So anybody comes on or send me pictures in my DMs of what books you're trying to trade or you're looking for, and I will post it out there for everybody. So please join us for that. And
that's super cool. I didn't know you did like a comic book classified thing. That's super cool.
Yeah, I got a group
also.
chat.
I'm sorry to keep going into this thumbnail, but anytime you have Psylocke's leg out like that,
I had to like lower the
I'm just gonna appeal to that, man.
sexy leg kicking the shit out of somebody, right?
Like
Well, I got a thing for Psylocke and Black Widow there too, but I did kind of cover up Black Widow's tushy, but but anyway, that's what's going on my channel, and I just want to say, oh yeah, and Sunday Super Show Extravaganza, new comic day previews. Of course, I think there's the big thing coming out next Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be Superman, Spider-Man. Everybody's hot for that. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I'm excited to see it. And that's at 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday.
I've read it. It's good. It's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
And,
it's not as good as the DC Batman Deadpool, in my opinion.
Okay.
But it is good.
And hey, Robbie, I just want to take this time before we move on. Thank you for letting me be part of March Madness. So anytime you're doing one of these things, let me know.
So you tell me thank you for taking up 3 hours of my fucking Monday night, man.
Yeah,
Well worth it.
It's not like Monday night's the night we need to catch up on sleep or nothing, but
Let me be part of the reviews and doing some on my channel. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course, man. Of course, man. I ever since we first talked about movies on Fable's channel, I just knew. I just knew, man. It's just I know my people when I see them, and like you and Cliff, Steph, Brooks and Jelani, we go way further back. Me and Brooks and Jelani, like over 20 fucking years we've known each other. What the fuck, man? That's so stupid, dude. I'm so excited for WrestleMania, guys. I cannot wait.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. Anyway, yeah, we have good times, man. Me and Jelani and Brooks live in the same town. If you three were with us in this, in fact, the weekend of WrestleMania is the weekend of the Huntsville Pop Culture Expo, right?
It is.
Yep, exact same weekend. Tons of guests are here. I'm doing tons of fucking panels with all kinds of comic book creators and celebrities, and I'm leaving early every fucking night to go and hang out with Jelani and Brooks for WrestleMania. And
good times. Great.
Link, Matt, Cliff, if you're in town for that, come watch WrestleMania with us, man. We got you, man. We're gonna have chicken wings and pizza and tequila and all kinds of shit, dude. It's gonna be fun. We'll have cupcakes and
we're gonna break
flavored water and shit, but it's gonna be
the fanciest flavored waters.
Yeah.
The ones that taste like something, not the ones that are reminiscent of a flavor.
That's why I use this.
I said fancy flavored waters.
Brooks, thank you for being here. Final thoughts, man.
All right, it's, like as March Madness goes on, I feel myself slowly spiraling towards the center of the mad eye of the eldritch horror that awaits us all. But I think I'll make it through. I've done it for several marches by now. I'm used to it.
This is the fifth time you've done it.
This hypnotic gaze no longer affects me at all. And, I'm fine. I'm not buying disciple robes or anything like that yet. But go figure reviews and check it out tonight. I was playing with Player One Cammy, for anybody who's curious.
Best thighs in the business.
Yeah.
Check that video out.
Thank you, Jelani, for throwing out the links to everybody in the chat. Appreciate that. Speaking of links.
I don't even have a wrench, man. Give me a wrench for this one.
Oh shit,
man. I need to give you a wrench. Fuck, you don't have a wrench. I can't do it here. I have to do it somewhere else. I can't do it on StreamYard. Yeah, they're stupid. The StreamYard's just now figuring shit out. Maybe I can. I'll look it up. While I do that, Link, tell us what you got coming up. I know more PCP movie nights, but I also know that Blood Splatter Chatter's coming back soon.
Yes,
So
yes.
let us in on the dates, man.
So in April, I don't know if this is a little too forward, but Verno and us have decided to do Stephen King month. So we'll be back in April doing Stephen King movies. I'm trying to weasel in Maximum Overdrive in there again. Just it's the only movie Stephen King's directed. Might as well.
Who made who?
But yeah, we might come back for like a Sunday show, just to, keep the palate wet, appetized. But April will be back for sure.
I saw Verno asking what Stephen King movies you want us to cover. And I kept thinking, what's the one I would want to cover? Like, I'm trying to like, what can I get over to be the one? Because I usually try to do one Blood Splatter Chatter a month, right? And I'm like, what one could I do? And I kept going, it's been a long time since I've seen Maximum Overdrive, and I've been very critical of that movie, but I think he's already done it. Then I go, would Creepshow count? Because he wrote Creepshow. Creepshow would count, right? But it's not based on one of his novels. We just did The Dark Half. Then I thought, can I convince every one of these motherfuckers to rewatch the Stand miniseries from the 90s by Mick Garris? Like, could I convince y'all of that? Like,
if we watched the motherfucking Storm of the Century, bro? I could.
We can do the Stand, right? We've never done the Stand.
I love Storm of the Century.
I gotta rewatch Storm.
Those miniseries, that one lives in her head. That guy, he took those children.
You know what? I've heard that reaction
Look,
from
you should have been
else.
there that night on Dylan's horror show. You would have been the only guy backing him up, man. I was like, that's the most boring thing I've ever watched, man.
I might have to rewatch it though, but I've heard from another person like, what? I really love.
Everybody keeps talking about how it's one of his greatest things because it was just a screenplay. It wasn't ever based on a novel or a short story, right? It was just like a screenplay he did. I don't know, man.
Listen,
and I will add that he may have directed Maximum Overdrive, but his assistant director was cocaine.
Yes. I remember the story where he like rolls over the head in the steamroller and it like busts open, and he showed that to Romero. He was so happy and proud to show this to his buddy George, and George goes, "Steve, I think you've gone a bit too far." When Romero tells you you've gone too far.
You definitely go far.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's get out of this motherfucker. We got lots of fun stuff coming up for March Madness. It's not over. It continues on Wednesday night over at Heroes for Hire Comic Club with the Devil's Rejects. Friday night over at One Collection Down with Misery. And then next Monday, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer on PCP Movie Night. All of these show times at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then we're going to kick it all off. That final week is The Substance over at Heroes for Hire. I'll be there with Matt. California over at One Collection Down. I'll be there for that. And then we got Psycho, the entire franchise. All 5 movies on March 30th, I believe, to wrap up this insanity that we call March Madness. We're only halfway through, y'all. Get going, get ready. And my final thoughts are, there is no magic.